Bertha. You're not going to say, whoa, here comes Bertha dating Tom Brady. You're going to say, well, there's Bertha at the Golden Corral line pushing people out of the way to get a second helping. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but that's probably been used in a sentence before. Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. Subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, what's happening, Jacksonville? Bark like a dog, says Gardner Minshew. Always something. They gotta love the Zoom calls. Put it on mute, people. Didn't happen, and actually made for a nice, light, fun moment. We need a lot of that, and Gardner Minshew delivered in that respect. He's off the list, the COVID-19 list. Told everybody he did not have it. Further explanation on all of that, and a little deeper dive into Gardner Minshew as he takes over the reins of this football team in a critical, critical year. It will be so interesting to tell the story down the road, however this pans out, because it will pan out during a pandemic. And you could certainly, if it doesn't work out, I was thinking this today, write the story some 5-10 years down the road that how is he supposed to succeed in this situation, and it was his one chance to do it. Or you write the story of just how great of a story it is that he was able to succeed with his one opportunity during a pandemic.
Sure.
So I vote for that one.
Yeah, but I think most Jaguars fans would.
But pretty wild indeed. I think if you really, we've talked so much about Jags, we talk football, we talk all this stuff for the last 6 months. But as it starts to get closer and closer, sometimes you got to remember the storyline. And the storyline for Minshew, to me, is just so big. And it's huge. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than this, than Gardner Minshew's position in 2020. It really doesn't. Like, I just don't think you can over-dramatize it. So we'll talk a little bit more about it and what he had to say today. And also glowing remarks about some members of his offense, which is a promising thing, too. I would think he would, but I thought what he said was interesting, and we'll share some of that with you. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos on a Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing well. Another hot one, absolutely. Everybody else up the coast now has to deal with the hurricane. Yeah. And good luck to all of them, including my family up in New England. Going to get a little bit of it, probably some power and wind, but they don't get them very often. And there it climbs up the coast, all the way up even to Rhode Island and Massachusetts. I just experienced another first with the mask. And I say this with no wearing the mask, not wearing the mask positioning. I had my mask on as I'm getting out of the car and coming up here to go in the building, and I had to sneeze.
I heard you.
Saw that.
I heard. I didn't see, but I heard it. Oh, yeah. Yep. How was that?
Well, I had to
how was
take
that
the mask off
for you?
real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, that could be. I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah. Now, listen.
Or it could just be a good catcher.
That's gross. Listen, where I'm coming from, I heard that sneeze, and I got panicked. Obviously, I heard one sneeze, and I understand. You got the allergies, man. We experienced that together in the Senior Bowl. Didn't think you're going to pull through. You did. So allergies are prevalent with you. All good. No big deal. A lot of people have to suffer through that. I understand. But I'm so hypersensitive now to any sneeze, any kind of snuffle, any kind of clearing your throat, let's just say. I get triggered, Brent. And I immediately go, oh, he's got it. Yep, here we go. Can't wait to start the show today, and now I'm going to get it. That's where my mind goes. Now, not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's how hypersensitive I am right now. And then it's probably because I'm in fight camp as well.
Wow, that's true, too. Yeah. Stay away from me. Maybe we should put the partition up.
No, it's all good, man.
That's a new experience for me with the mask. It happens. One other thing I've got to figure out, if anybody has my credit card, please return it. I can't find it.
Oh, no.
I hate when I lose things.
Did you check your kids?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
I haven't stolen the credit card yet. I don't think.
Yeah?
You don't need to steal the credit card anymore. You got Amazon.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Just steal the password and you're good.
It's all at the convenience of one button click, and there you go.
It is.
Whatever you want,
like
your fingertips.
Steph changes the password like every week. I can't even get in there anymore because she's afraid somebody will see what you bought or click on there and just click something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know where the credit card is. Sometimes, I make the mistake of not putting my credit card all the way back in my wallet.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll just put my credit card like in my back pocket. So like kind of around my wallet or in the folding part of my wallet. And I have no idea.
See,
I have no idea what happened. The last 36 hours.
That's why I need one of these bad boys right here, man. Put it right in your cell phone.
I have too much stuff for that, I think.
How many? I mean, I'm sure you got a lot of credit cards, number one. What do you mean you got too much stuff?
Hundreds.
A lot of hundreds.
You could do what I do, and whenever anything I lose, I misplace something, I just ask Nicole, where'd you put my wallet?
Yep.
Immediately blame her.
It's not your fault, man. Right. Somebody else's fault. You better believe. You better point that blame. I love it, man.
The disappointing part, at least in our house, is that I lose a little leverage on this. That I lost it because I think I actually lost one recently within the last year. So this could be our second one that we have to say cancel and go get. And then you got to change everything that you have it attached to. But Steph's like the worst. Steph loses her keys, can't find her license, can't find this, can't find that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't get it. Why don't you just put stuff back in the same spot every time? Like I put my keys in my wallet in the same spot every day. Mm-hmm. Every day. Like I know where they're at. Yeah. But then I'll go and lose my credit card, and now I don't have that luxury of leverage.
I had this bad habit where I'd lose my keys, credit card, wallet, like when I was in college. It just happened everywhere I went. Like literally, I was that one friend where I go with a group of friends that would lose his stuff. And then there's nothing more embarrassing than having to go back and say, hey, guys, can we turn around? I forgot something. Like nobody wants to be that guy over and over again. But thankfully, I've took it upon myself to get like I have this.
That's a pretty good one right there. I like that case.
I can put 3 cards in my phone, so that makes things a lot easier. And then my keys, it's kind of the Wild West here, but thankfully, I haven't lost them too many times.
I'll tell you, one of the great things, I love the lanyard from ESPN 690.
You better believe it.
ESPN 690 lanyard is good.
I had one, and then I don't want to say I broke it, but I got it. I smashed in the car door by accident, and that's what broke it.
Another one.
That'd be great. I mean, I'm sure
nobody's been in the building forever. I'll just go raid the promotions department.
But I'm sure that the ESPN 690 syndicate out there is just grabbing up like hotcakes, so I don't want to take away from them either.
Well, just think we have a bevy of them because we haven't done remotes.
Bevy of them. I like that.
We haven't done remotes or on location stuff.
We haven't had a lot of away games lately, bro.
We haven't.
Yeah. It's a lot of home games.
Cooking.
Yep.
But anyway, if you find my credit card, just buy yourself a soda and then get it back to me.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. Is it a capital? I mean, do you want to say what kind of card it is?
It's a Visa card.
Okay.
It's a Marriott, like a Marriott Visa
rewards
card.
Kind of thing. Okay. How do they for like the online app stuff? Because I know because obviously I'm a big boy now. I have a credit card. Actually,
you have
two credit cards now.
Wow, how about that?
2 credit cards now. Of course, there's only $200.
Turning 32 has been a big deal for you.
No, there's a $200 spending limit, and then that is what it is. Well, that's where you start out with, and then you can show that you're responsible.
Is that what it is?
And then the spending limit goes up. So
my gosh.
I need 2 more months of clean payments, and then check this out, Brent. $500.
That's right.
$500. Are you ready for that? $500.
But here's with those, they just keep giving you more. Like that's kind of what I was on. Mm-hmm. The other day I got one and they're like, hey, yeah, we're gonna bump you up to 5,000. I'm like, whoa, hey, whoa,
5,000.
Yeah, I don't want that ability.
Oh, especially with FanDuel out there. You know what? That $5,000.
I'll tell you, $200. You're lucky you don't have a truck.
You only need 150 down.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yet, just once that Ford Bronco comes out.
I love that story. How many other people? I want to know.
Relax.
Does anybody know anybody else?
Relax, everybody.
That took until what? Seriously, what? 31 or 32? It would
have been 32.
32 to get their first credit
card. Everybody relax.
What I still can't believe, and we've had this conversation before, but I still can't believe you never filled out, the T-shirt, to get a free T-shirt or something, you never filled out, the credit card thing.
Listen, I know exactly what you're talking about. Every single Brewers game, I wanted a Brewers T-shirt. And I remember what my grandpa told me, he's like, if you can't pay for it in cash, don't pay for it at all. Okay, Grandpa, I get it. You know what? That's how they did it.
Guy.
Yeah. How they did it in the 30s during the Great Depression, but nowadays, you need to have credit. You have to have good credit to get things, just the way it is. So he's a little old school from that. I guess it's better late than never, though, and now my credit's looking extra juicy, so we're all good.
Extra juicy?
Extra juicy, man. I could probably apply for a black card if I really wanted one, but I don't need one. Because those are unlimited, right?
I don't know.
I think those are. Well, you better step your game up then, man.
Mine's not unlimited.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what the cap
Black card
is.
Brent, isn't that what they used to call you back in the day? Black card Brent?
I've never been a credit card. Like, I mean, if we have to make purchases on credit card, to make purchases, but I've never been one to like overspend on a credit card.
Yeah.
I've never overspent. One of my pet peeves in life is paying interest.
No, for sure. I'm
and
the same way.
especially on a
man.
credit card.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that got stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
But I hate paying interest. Just hate it. Like, even the rates are unbelievable on houses, and even cars aren't bad right now.
Yeah.
But I don't like paying it.
Yeah.
Like, so I'll do whatever I can to try to pay that thing off it quickly. And so I've never, unless we just we're late on a payment.
Yeah.
Accidentally on a credit card, I've never had to pay interest, and thank goodness they're like 22%.
No, for sure. And get this, too. I'm learning all the unwritten rules about credit cards. So supposedly you can't, so say if you have that $200 limit, right? If you take over 50%, that lowers your credit score down.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what is the point of that then? So why would you have a $200 limit, but if I charge over $100, I get punished for that? What's up with that?
Well, I understand what you're saying now.
So it's like if you charge over 50% or whatever.
I can't imagine on that low of a limit that comes into play.
It did, man, because my score dropped 3 points.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's surprising. I don't understand the whole credit score thing, but
we did have someone just comment on the YouTube stream saying,
kind.
if I return your card, I can't keep purchasing Jags jerseys.
That's a good point.
well, that's true. But be careful who you purchase, because they often leave.
Go and get that Gardner Minshew home and away one while you can.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a compliment anymore to get a guy's jersey.
Yeah.
It might be a ticket out the door.
Would you say Josh Allen safest bet? I mean, it's got to be, right? Like, Pro Bowler. He's at least slated for another 2 years.
Yeah.
Humble, seems like.
Yeah.
Low key.
But I don't know. I would get a rookie from now and have 4 years.
No, that's a good point. But
I get
I'm
one
just
of these
saying.
first. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, okay. I got you. Yeah, go ahead and get a rookie if you want as well.
All right. Plenty to talk about today. By the way, on Friday, we introduced you to the big news of the day, and the news that we will have Florida State here in Jacksonville on ESPN 690 in terms of football games, basketball games. Well, part of it is we'd like to welcome you into the show a little bit, Knowles fans, and that doesn't mean we're going to do 3 hours of Florida State football, Florida State basketball, but we would like to talk a little bit more Knowles on occasion, start a little thing called FSU at 4 when it applies. So we'll talk a little Florida State today, and we also have a lot to get into, of course. I asked the question, this was a homework assignment last night, who would be in quarantine for the Jaguars if you were going to take that route if you were Doug Marrone? Would you put a quarterback in there? Would you put another player? What about other teams? Would they be smart to do this? I know it sounds kind of absurd. I get it. But when we get to September and you lose a major player to the COVID-19 list, would it be as absurd? Yeah. So something to at least think about, and I think teams are thinking about. Doug Marrone acknowledged it. Yeah, that could be an option, but they're not doing it right now. We'll talk a little bit about that on the way as well. And Billy Donovan, co-coach of the year in the NBA, does this validate his move to the NBA out of college? What kind of coach has he been? We'll talk a little bit about that later on in the show. A lot of fun stuff, including Gardner Minshew. Bark like a dog. Gardner Minshew. We begin with him next. Not only what he had to say about his team, about COVID-19, about the list he was on. We're going to deep dive into some Minshew numbers during the show today because I thought there was an interesting article about that, and we'll take a look at Gardner Minshew in 2020. We begin right there with number 15. It's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Hot and humid today under partly sunny skies with scattered afternoon thunderstorms developing, and some of those will make it all the way to the beaches. Highs in the low to mid-90s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be. Because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today.
Been dreaming of Subway tile and butcher block counters? Outdoor kitchens and pavers?
Oh, honey.
The weather's great and it's time to knock out those nagging home projects with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Borrow up to 90% loan to value and pay no closing costs. Best of all, we'll give you a free wheelbarrow. That's right, a free wheelbarrow. Apply today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Just please, no more shiplap.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by **, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing ** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's ** Mobile. When prospective customers see your offline or online ad and they dial your branded ** Mobile number, ** Mobile helps to convert them through text, voice, and online communications. Give it a try now by dialing ** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's ** Mobile.
Nurses take extraordinary care of us during what is often the most difficult and trying times in one's life. We often take for granted the service and sacrifice of these first responders. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. If you are a nurse and currently face investigation or complaint under the Florida Nurse Practice Act, you are not alone. Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000 for a consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
This following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and its radio station.
This is Max Mayfield, former director of the National Hurricane Center. This hurricane season, you need to update your family preparedness plan so it includes COVID-19 preparations. So when a storm threatens, be ready to prepare your home and have your family hurricane kit ready. It includes supplies for your pets and enough COVID-19 sanitizers, disinfectant wipes, and masks. Know your zone, know your home. For more information, go to floridastorms.org.
Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. That was Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic. Was he driving a Zamboni during that?
I believe they were Zamboning the courts.
I was like, Coach just said Zamboning the courts.
Is that what Zamboni?
That's the verb of Zamboniing.
Sure about that?
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo from Golic and Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Our team, we're pretty, internally motivated. We have our own goals. We don't need anybody else to tell us what to do or, what we're not going to do. I believe that we believe in each other, and, we're going to bring it each day to be the best we can be.
That's Gardner Minshew. Certainly carries a chip on his shoulder. I have told you that for a long time. If you go back to his Brandon, Mississippi days, we've been there, and you could feel it. And so I think all the naysayers, while I don't think it will distract and be, oh my gosh, front and center, get carried away with it, I do think it's a thing. And he acknowledges it. I remember asking him back, when was that? Must have been a couple of months ago now, maybe right after the draft or whenever they were making some guys available, about the naysayers. And he had heard it, no doubt. You hear everything. You can no longer say that as a player. Oh, yeah, we don't pay attention. We don't read that, You hear everything. So they know what's being said about their football team, and it's not a surprise even to have a question phrased that way anymore about their football team. And Minshew gets to guide, the Jags through all of that and surprise people. Something he's been doing for a good portion of his playing career is surprising people. So that part of the story is really interesting. So is the COVID-19 part of the story. He was on the list for 2 days.
Yeah.
Comes off the list, which is awfully good sign. And again, the distinction on the list, if you haven't seen this, I'm sure you have by now, is you could test positive or you can be in quarantine because you were around somebody that did test positive. Well, there were several other players that went on that list. There are several players currently still on the list. Minshew has come off it, and he was no doubt around it more so than testing positive for it. Mm-hmm. So that's the distinction going on, and therefore it was a quick trip to the list. He indicated today it's the first time in the building for him because, again, if you think about it, last Tuesday they reported they had to take tests, go back, take tests. Well, then he goes on the list. So today really being the first part of in the building stuff for him in the in training camp 2020. He's funny about how he put it around COVID-19. He was ready. He had his clothes picked out for the first day of school.
Yes, sir.
And ready to roll, and then, bam, all of a sudden he couldn't come in. So he's excited about getting going. The big story here is obviously he didn't have COVID-19. Because although I think most players around the NFL that are testing positive or even around Major League Baseball, we haven't seen this extreme case. Mm-hmm. We also know that I would think that if you test positive, you're going to miss more time. You're not spending 2 days on that list if you test positive. There's a really good chance you might spend anywhere from a few days to a week or 2 weeks on that list.
Of course.
That would be a lot of time missed. Mm-hmm. Even these 2 days seem to frustrate Minshew.
Yeah, I mean, it's the uncertainty, right? I mean, an injury is one thing where there's like a timetable, right? If you tear a hamstring, if you break a finger or something like that, like there's a timetable that's set up where you know when you're going to come back and you have a goal to work towards. If you have COVID-19, everyone's body reacts differently. Some people are on the shelf for maybe a week at the maximum. Others it takes a couple weeks. So to me that's the frustrating part, right? Because obviously, you can take care of your immune system and you can, get a lot of rest and all this stuff, kind of like you would handle the flu, but you don't know when you're going to get better. You don't know when you're going to test negative. So from that standpoint, it's kind of the uncertainty, the fear of the unknown that can be frustrating to professional athletes that kind of revolve around knowing exactly all those timelines.
Absolutely. And so the quarterback's back in the building. That's an important thing. And this was just a minor kind of headline when it comes to COVID-19. I think we have to say this, though. There's no guarantee he doesn't go back on the list at some point.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part about this. I said this yesterday, and I understand you actually have a little bit more of a whoa, I think, reaction to the list and the 12 players being on it than I do because we're so early. And I guess I just anticipated some of this early on. If we get 2-3 weeks down the road and now we're getting Gardner Minshew's on the list for 3 days and he's out of practice and he can't be around, well, I do think that becomes an issue. I just don't think these couple of days really cost the Jags or him anything. I think this is such an acclimation process where they're not really clicking on all cylinders right now anyway inside their building as they kind of weather this part of the storm. But I do think we have to keep it open that not only could he get on the list again, could he on the list at any time during the season? And then that's where these things get magnified. Of course, it would feel like at least everybody outside the building.
Well, yeah, and that's where I'm coming from. I mean, listen, whether players have it or don't have it, like if they're on the list that makes me raise an eyebrow. Now, regardless of what the Jaguars' exact protocol is, if it's different than other teams, well, keep in mind, if their protocol is indeed a little more stricter, if it is different than other teams, they're not just going to all of a sudden have a new protocol when the season starts. You have to stick to with what you've been doing. You just can't say, all right, well, let's go ahead and go by these rules. But now since the season's starting, let's be a little more lackadaisical. Let's be a little more casual with it because we can't afford to lose people. So when 12 players pop up on the list and they miss whatever time during the season, you better believe I'm going to be nervous, as opposed to some teams who don't really have one player yet. So, yeah, I'm a little nervous from how they're handling it, from what's going on, just because once that season starts, you need everybody on that team. You can't afford to have guys sit out, especially starters.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's when it will become amplified, for sure, that list and whoever's missing time. Kuz, do you have the sound, and if you can get it at some point, you don't need it in the next minute, but we're producing the show as we go. Do you have anything about him talking about the antibodies and Michael Walker down in Naples when they were working out down there? If you get it in the next few minutes, let me know, because I thought that was really interesting. Like, I got to be honest with you. My mind has tuned out a lot of the fact and fiction of COVID-19 and coronavirus. We have all these, we know where it led us from March, April, May, June to political conversation to whatever. And my mind we were so inundated with all of it. It tuned it out. I actually asked, Stuart today, I was like, all right, what's this whole antibody thing even mean? And what it means is basically that at some point you likely had COVID-19. Well, he tested positive for the antibodies. I thought that was a big part of what he said today. But then he said he didn't have it as well. Yeah. So it was really confusing.
Well, I mean, he could have had it at an earlier date and obviously didn't get it checked out, got over it, and now here we are.
Yeah, so I think kind of my interpretation of it was he probably had coronavirus at some point, didn't know it, but when he was tested for it on multiple occasions, tested negative.
Correct.
Is that
that's
what you interpreted?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Again. But now there's one more element of that. Is that a positive sign that he had the antibodies, which means there's a really good chance he won't test positive again?
So I think that, and listen, I'm not a doctor, but from what I've read is if you have the antibodies, obviously that helps you and it kind of prevents you from getting it again. But it's not foolproof. And if you do get it again, it means that the virus, the COVID-19, can essentially penetrate those antibodies. And when it penetrates, well, then that kills your immune system. So it's actually worse if you get it again.
Yeah.
Now, the odds of you getting it again might be a little more rare, but if you do get it again, it could be that much worse, which obviously, if you're a Jaguars fan regarding Gardner Minshew, you'd be nervous about.
In that sense, it's kind of like, when you were a kid, there was that conversation. I don't know about just a kid, but I remember it as a kid about the measles or chicken pox or something like that. One of them that it was very rare to get it again, but if you got it again, it was bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah,
I forget which one it was, but
yeah, I know. The chicken pox. If you get them again, I know it's kind of like a big time bummer, especially when you get them as an adult.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's Gardner Minshew talking about what I just mentioned: the antibodies, the working out in Naples with Michael Walker and others, and the fact that he didn't test positive this time around. He was just on the list because he was around someone that did.
What happened is I think we both had the antibodies from staying in Naples. We probably got it down there at the same time, had no symptoms or whatever. And then, I think he failed a test, but I don't think he has it again. But just since he failed it and I was around him, then I had to sit out too. So it just shows kind of the fragility of this whole thing and how fickle, this thing can be. Just being around somebody, if they touch enough people, you could shut down a whole team really quick.
Well, it's a great soundbite from Minshew. Now, it's, again, kind of confusing a little bit because he's not really nobody's really supposed to be commenting about other players.
Yeah.
But he basically said Walker tested negative, ended up on the list. So that's why he's on the list. Now, a lot of people assume that they're roommates still because they were last year. Well, they're not anymore. They're not roommates this year. In fact, I've heard he's living in a house or moving into a house on his own. But either way, he actually said he's living on his own. He's not living with Michael Walker and Andrew Wingard this year. But he kind of led on that Walker was the reason he's on this list because he was around him and he tested negative, even though he said he doesn't think he has it. So, again, I was kind of confused. But I think it's the latter part. Well, the early part is he talked about the antibodies. But the latter part of what you just heard is he mentioned the fragility of the whole situation, that it could really knock out a lot of people on a team. And so they're aware of that. And it's good to hear the players say they're aware of that. They get it. I know we have to assume that's the case. They've been given everything that every employee across America has been given. Say, hey, do the right thing, stay away, protect others, all that stuff. But again, it's good to hear that they're trying to do that to the best of their abilities in Jags headquarters.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this just confirms, obviously, and it's been kind of going on Twitter a little bit, like the team that's the most responsible will probably win the Super Bowl this year. It's not necessarily the most talented team. Yeah. It's not the best coach team. We could be sitting here, in a couple months from now, we could be sitting here in February, whenever, and just say, you know what? That team was the most responsible team, and they got themselves a Super Bowl. Just because, like Garner said, all it takes is just one guy to get it and spread it and be irresponsible, and all of a sudden you're talking about, 10, 15, 20 guys getting it and shutting your whole team down, man. That's the difference between wins and losses right there.
We had this conversation. It's can you combat maybe your lack of talent on one team and surprise people because of this entire situation, whether it's how you handle it, whether you just get a little luckier than other teams. And some of the teams that are supposed to be very good, will they take a huge hit? Would they lose potentially a Patrick Mahomes or a Kelsey or somebody like that at the wrong time, that really hampers them? And it might mean they didn't get home field advantage because of it. Might mean they go on a little losing skid because of it. Cost them the playoffs. Who knows? But it does bring up that point once again. You just said it. Who's the most responsible? But I think also along with that, luck has to come into play. You can be responsible and still contract coronavirus in some way. So I think responsibility and a little lady luck comes into play.
Listen, luck is revolved on every team that's successful, without a doubt. Now obviously skill can outweigh that and trump that, but luck is prevalent, especially in this situation. But if I'm the Jaguars, if I'm every single NFL team right now, and I'm trying to look at these figures, and I'm seeing, all right, am I in a hot spot? Are we in the clear? Whatever. But regardless of that, I'm just trying to come up with ways like, listen, how can I make sure that my guys have the best chance to succeed? And if you break that down, you ask yourself, all right, well, what do guys need to go out in public for right now? Obviously, groceries, restaurant, food's a necessity for themselves and their families as well. Maybe like, if you go out for some entertainment, things like that with your family once again. But to me, it's like, if I'm the Jags, I try to do everything in myself to be like, all right, you guys need food here. Let's get like some kind of deliveries. Let's get some kind of service where we can get this food to you at your house. And we have to go to Publix and interact with people and be around people the whole time, and we can go do these things. Like, to me, I'm literally thinking of every possible way that I can make my players' life easier, where they don't interact with anybody in the bars. Now, once again, it takes a leap of faith, because you can have those one or two or three guys or a group of guys that want to go out and have a good time, and that's just, once again, I talk about it all the time, human nature. But I'm trying to do my due diligence as a football team to say, how can we cut out these guys going out in public and try to be infected?
So here's the deal, man. Along those lines, because it's a crapshoot. You can do what you want. I mean, Gardner Minshew, I thought, was really good about, hey, they're doing their best down there. They're cleaning it. The janitorial staff, the training staff, the every staff, they're doing their part. And we trust them, and we just got to listen and follow. That's cool. I get it. But are you a little surprised that guys are allowed to go home? I mean, in training camp, the nature of a normal training camp is to be in the hotel.
Sure.
That's what people have done for decades and decades. Like, that's kind of the misery of training camp, quite frankly.
Correct.
And in this situation where you could actually build a kind of a bubble, much like the Saints have tried to do, where I think basically it's like 80% of their, maybe even a little more, if I do math right, but basically 80% of their players and staff and everybody involved will be staying at a hotel that's not in, no other guests can stay there. They basically booked the hotel out, and they created their own little bubble. The only folks that are staying in hotels here in Jacksonville, according to Doug Marrone, the way he made it seem, the rookies that don't have a place to stay, or anybody that doesn't have a place to stay, And if somebody chooses to stay there to get away from family members they might be with, or they just feel like it's a safer environment, but it's an optional thing. Are you a little surprised that it's not more of a mandatory thing of all the years to stay at one place and keep yourself kind of locked in? This one would seem to make the most sense.
Listen, I'm definitely surprised now how players react to that. I mean, I'm sure, listen, where I'm at right now, I'd probably just stay in the hotel just to get a little peace and quiet, because last thing I want to do is come home from a grueling training camp and now I got to watch kids and do all that kind of stuff, like that. But I'm very surprised because, listen, you can sanitize that entire stadium with the latest technology like they're doing, and that's fantastic. That gives you a peace of mind, and it shows you they're taking this very seriously, as they should. I like that. But to be fair, I'm not worried about a Jaguars player or a staff member contracting COVID-19 in the stadium. What I'm worried about is a Jaguars player contracting it going out in the city of Jacksonville, which is a hotspot, okay? That's what I'm worried about. So if you're worried about that, we have to take a look at ourselves and say, well, you probably have a better shot right now of contracting COVID-19 at home with a family member than you do, obviously, in that stadium. And when we talk about having 90 people on that roster right now, that's a lot of possibilities. Right? And regardless of what the protocols say, and you got to stay 6 feet away in the locker room, all that stuff, I just have a feeling if someone gets it on the outside, brings it into the stadium for training camp, well, then more than one person is probably going to contract it as well.
Yeah, and the idea that, let's just say for the sake of argument, half the staff is at the hotel. I don't even think that many are, but not the staff, half the players, staff, everybody. I think the New Orleans story said there's 180 people in there everywhere, and 150 of them are staying. Well, let's just say the Jags have 180 people, and 90 of them are in the hotel area, and 90 are going home. Well, now you're getting 90 different places that you're bringing back into the building, and I understand you have to get tested before you go in. There's tracking and tracing, so they're obviously very comfortable in that. Listen, I will say this, to be fair to the Jags and anybody else doing this and not kind of doing their own little bubble, which actually it looks like the Saints are more of an outlier than anybody right now. They've put a lot of work and thought into this.
Sure.
But I guess from a logic standpoint, just to try to get to the season as healthy as possible, the Saints idea makes a heck of a lot more sense to me.
It does, yeah. And obviously, if you're testing everybody, if they choose to go home every single, and once again, does I'm not sure exactly what the testing details. I assume that it's probably going to be hopefully the swab thing, or else, if you go by temperature, things like that, just because you don't show any symptoms doesn't mean you don't have COVID-19. So that's where I'd be nervous as well. So hopefully it's the whole
I think it's
more
intense.
Yeah, the more intense one, which sucks, but obviously that's probably the safest way to go about it. But I agree with you here, Brent. Essentially you are going to be in the hotels anyways for a training camp, especially in Jacksonville. Now, granted, you get maybe 1 or 2 days during training camp to go home with your family and spend time with them. So be it. But you got to take a look at it from a different couple of perspectives here. Number one, if you're a second-year, third-year guy trying to make a team, if you contract COVID-19 during training camp, well, you might have just, signed your papers and said, well, because what are you going to do?
Goodbye, NFL.
Exactly. Because if you can't get on the field and practice, how are you going to make a team? Okay? They always have every single coach in the NFL, they have a quote. They have a phrase. Whenever you tear your first hamstring or pull something, you can't make the team in the training room. Okay? Well, you can't make the team in the quarantine. Now, if you're a starter or anything, then yeah, obviously you have that luxury. But a lot of those guys, especially on that team, which is so young, there's going to be a lot of spots up for grabs. So keep in mind, if you choose to go home and you're around it, you subject yourself to that. If you get COVID-19 and you're even out for 3 or 4, and maybe even a week, 2 weeks, your training camp's done, man. And that's not good for you trying to make a team.
And it goes back to what we said, so much luck involved in this year. There's luck involved in every season, no doubt. Injuries and everything else. But there's a lot of luck.
But it's just, it's so crazy to fathom, though, Brent, where one unlucky happenstance where someone catches COVID-19, and maybe they're out for 2 to 3 weeks during training camp, and that could be your career.
That's it.
You could have maybe had a promising, special teams role that grows into maybe being a Pro Bowler at that position. Who knows what happens? But just one little unlucky thing can literally change your whole career path. It's just baffling to think about right now.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. That's my point on Minshew. I started the show today saying, in 5 to 10 years, we're going to write a story or talk about us. I say write, but we're going to have a story on Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, look at the advantage. Look at the opportunity he took advantage of. Look at the in a pandemic, man, this guy, he was still able to get it done. Or it's going to be like that guy that you just mentioned in camp and say, he had one chance.
Sure.
See, Minshew epitomizes that to me. He's got one chance. This is it.
Yeah.
Like, and then maybe someday down the road he gets another chance. But listen, that doesn't happen. Bortles can't even get on a team right now. So,
Sure.
This is one chance to me. And that's what's so crazy about the Minshew story,
Yeah.
in my opinion, and in this time of all times.
The biggest thing with the Jaguars going forward, though, Brent, and talk about Minshew having this one chance, I just want to see consistency, okay? Let's say that Minshew goes out there and for whatever reason he struggles, all right? And he isn't who we thought he was, okay? Now we're talking about, first-round pick from next year for the quarterback, and we have that whole conversation. Okay, that's fine. But then don't turn around and say, well, let's give Doug Marrone another excuse because, well, he's in a quarantine. I mean, COVID-19, the whole pandemic. Let's go ahead and give this coaching staff and the front office another chance because, well, this was a crazy year. No, it has to work the same way for player and coach. So if player can use that excuse, a coach can either, in my opinion.
That is going to be really interesting read on the season as you look back on it, how much comes into play. We're going a little quarantine crazy here, but would you quarantine some players around the NFL? Does it make sense to do that to avoid these kind of lists? Also, one game today match worth $200 million. $200 million, maybe even more. And another former Jag opts out. We'll have the latest next on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Well, and you know where I stand on this, and I've been very adamant about this. I'm not going to be surprised whether it's in the NFL or college where teams are going to try to, maybe kind of sway the rules a little bit just to get that competitive edge. There's nothing more competitive than a football season, whether it's college or the NFL.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them, ESPN690.com.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping, with a laser focus on celebrating your special moments. Every associate, every receptionist, every jewelry craftsman, every single person at Diamonds Direct shares this DNA, this overwhelming desire to exceed your expectations, to honor your trust, to revel in your moment, to make your experience truly magical. This is not a mission statement written on our wall. This is the essence of who we are. It's what drives us every day. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. For real.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233. Celebrate your love with end of summer savings now at Beard's Diamonds.
Right now at Beard, take advantage of 5 years, 0 interest financing.
Yes, 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down. Take advantage of Beard's already lowest prices in town. But now, spread your payments out over 60 months.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500, you pay just $25 a month. It's the best deal of the summer. Get
Get her that piece of jewelry she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out over 60 months.
But it's only for a limited time and only at Beard's Diamonds.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
Come into Beard's Diamonds. See the difference. Save thousands.
Come to the grand opening of Q Delicia, the best Mexican-American sports bar in town. Enjoy ice-cold beer, $10 sangria pitchers, along with the best quesadillas and fajitas in town while watching the game. If you can't go, at least you can watch. But don't be surprised if you hear, goal! You can watch football, NFL, NBA, MLB, boxing, UFC, and more on multiple HD TVs. Visit Q Delicia for the grand opening on 3980 Southside Boulevard today. Q Delicia, the Mexican-American sports bar you never knew you needed. Call 904-253-3477.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and in the TuneIn Radio app.
And that's what honestly is a good thing that it happened now. We realized, what could happen, what could go wrong if one of us, failed a test. So just did the thing that we all agreed was best for us. So, yeah.
A little more of an explanation from Gardner Minshew. And you know what I was talking yesterday? Where the Jaguars kind of went on a they could, I said could, in theory, be conservative with their approach to this and who they put on the list. Because, the tracing may say, hey, if you're around somebody, now it says 15 minutes within 6 feet. Well, the Jags stipulation might be, hey, if you've been around that person at all, we're putting you on the list. Didn't that soundbite from Minshew kind of indicate we thought this would be the best idea, he almost said, to go on and check it out and be sure?
Yep. That could be very well be what happened. That's essentially
what he kind of said. That's what me reading into it.
Yeah.
But that was because everybody was like, hey, why they have more players than anybody in the league. Well, they might be being more cautious than anybody else, is my point.
Sure.
And it's just it's plausible reason to have 12 rather than, 6 for another team or none for another team.
And once again, though, I'm just going to say, if you're going to have that type of energy right now during the offseason, you better have that same type of energy during the season. You know, like you just can't change your stipulations and your protocols all of a sudden when the season starts. I think you have to be consistent here.
Yeah. By the way, opt-outs deadline is now Thursday, I think around 4 o'clock for the NFL. Alan Hearns, former Jags wide receiver, now opting out for the Miami Dolphins. And, of course, Marquise Lee, former Jags wide receiver, opted out for the New England Patriots. One thing for fans, this is your last day because we're season ticket members as well, and we keep getting the emails and the calls. This is your last day to opt in if you want to be a part of potentially getting season tickets for this year, you know, the one of the 17,000. And you have several options. You've probably been getting the emails, but today is the deadline, so take care of that. Just a friendly reminder. And if you don't put any option down, which I think is essentially what we're going to do, basically because I couldn't find my ID number when I went to fill everything out, is at the moment. And if you don't do anything, they'll give you like option 3 and basically put money toward next year's season tickets that you've already paid. And it kind of, you know, locks you into 2021 at a similar price. I think at the same price. So if I interpreted that right. But anyway, if you're a season ticket member, make sure you take care of that today. Today is the deadline if you have interest in going to games this fall or whatever else you might want to do, including full refund. You can get a full refund. But that's a friendly PSA from me.
Nicely done, bro.
To do that. We only have a couple minutes here, but just quick thought. I know we've talked a lot. I try not to talk too much COVID-19. Obviously, the Minshew story is pertinent, and now all the opt-out stuff, and even Alan Hearns and Marquise Lee. So we're kind of getting into it. I'm not going to stay on it for too long, but I gave you the homework assignment yesterday. Should any teams consider quarantine players at some point and say, hey, we don't want you around us, whether it's a backup quarterback or whether it's a star player, we trust you. Go take care of your stuff. Just make sure you're here and healthy and ready, or stay in this bubble that we put you in. Anything of the sort. It could be a myriad of things. Would you consider it for any team, but even here in Jacksonville?
I think Bruce Arians was the first guy to kind of come forward and kind of have this plan.
Now, about his quarterback.
Whether he's going to follow through with it or not, time will tell. Would I do it personally as a head coach? Obviously, we're talking about the quarterback position here, right? I mean, the most important position.
You could do it for another position.
But the quarterback is
listen, like you could, let's just say this, okay? You could do it for Calais Campbell. You could say, hey, Calais, you've been in the league for 12 years, man.
Yeah.
You know how to get ready. You can show up. But we want you safe in here. We need you. We think you're a big part of our team. So go do your thing. We'll see you back here the week of the first game. Whatever it might be. You know, that's my.
Well, and see, because this is what makes a difference to me. Because I was going to use like an example like that, where if it's like a defensive lineman or like an edge rusher, an important position, well, then I can see like, all right, well, if you have the guy quarantined off, that's fine because they can kind of get away with, that. But if we're talking about the quarterback position, the most important position on the field, and do you quarantine somebody off, obviously, during training camp, but also maybe during the season where it's like, a last case scenario effort, do you bring that guy in? I'm just very adamant of if you were to quarantine a quarterback and kind of leave him to his own devices, that guy that comes back, unless you're a Patrick Mahomes, unless you're just a once-in-a-generational talent, I don't think it's going to be beneficial to you because that quarterback, they need the reps, Brent. They whether it's practice reps, whether it's the walkthrough, but they need to find that timing. And you can't find your timing, your confidence, and things like that if you're just in a quarantine. We see it all the time happen to guys, for instance, like Todd Ballman. Now, when we brought Todd Ballman in, that would have been back in 2011, I believe, when they brought 2011, 2010? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, 2011, I believe it was. Todd Ballman was on a tractor. All right, not throwing footballs to receivers, things like that. They bring him in, and truth be told, he did okay. Now, he wasn't probably going to win you a lot of games just because he wasn't ingrained in the system, obviously. He didn't have time to, throw and catch to his players. So I think you have to work on that chemistry and things like that from the quarterback position, and you can't do that if you're by yourself in the quarantine.
And let's be honest, Todd Ballman's just not very good. I mean, he's not he's not a great quarterback. I mean, he was a backup quarterback. He was actually a great situation. That's a great example because he essentially was in quarantine.
He was quarantined himself,
on
a tractor. Whatever it was.
Said, hey, you've been around the league long enough. If we need you, we'll call you. Well, we needed you.
Sure.
It's a great example. Couldn't you do that with Josh Dobbs? Smart guy, picks up the offense, knows what's going on. Go work out, do your thing. Couldn't you do it with Mike Glennon? You got 2 veteran backup QBs. And I don't even know which one's the backup right now. But you have 2 guys that have been around it. And I think Dobbs more so because I know his smarts, and maybe from a system thing, do I need the reps, do all that stuff? You come in and play if you need them.
Well, keep in mind, though, so if you do that, you have to keep him on the roster, right? You just can't cut him and then say, hey, I mean, so
but you're keeping the extra quarterback this year anyway.
Without a doubt. So they're on the roster. My point, though, is, listen, you obviously have to take 2 quarterbacks to a game. I mean, at least. Some teams will take 3.
Oh, no doubt.
So with that being said, and knock on wood, obviously, if something would have happened to Minshew who doesn't play well and you replace him with a backup, well, then to have that 3rd quarterback in quarantine, to me, it's kind of pointless, right? Because at the end of the day, if you expect your 3rd string quarterback to start, how many games you can actually win, really?
Well, no, it's more just, all right, give us a chance.
Sure.
You're not planning on winning games if you get to that point, but give us a chance. So the other interesting thing that may prevent this anyway is I'm pretty sure in all the back and forth last night, if you saw the national guys talking about the latest agreement and the opt-out and all this, I think one of the new rules is you can activate a guy from the practice squad as soon as 90 minutes before a game.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that. Okay.
I'll double-check that.
It out.
But that would, for a guy like Jake Luton, who might make it to the practice squad, you could actually take him off it on the morning of a game.
That's big.
If that's the case.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest with you, I didn't know when I think you had to do it by like Saturday at some point in the past.
Sure.
So that makes sense this year.
Well, and keep in mind, too, for practice squad players, now it's big time because if teams catch COVID, practice squad players are eligible for other teams to sign. If another team wants to sign a practice squad player, I mean, he can poach a couple guys off your roster that you wanted to keep.
True. Todd Bowman was quarantined back in 2010-11 on the tractor. That's a great example.
There you go, man.
Send somebody to the fields. All right, we'll be back. ESPN 690. We're doing a little Florida State at 4, talking the quarterback position for the Noles. That's next.
Let's talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no-contact sales and service appointments and have taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's thinking about your good health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our home. You can have it at your home. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great-tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Just call 904-552-1242 or go to cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing Jacksonville and Southeast Georgia.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Oil change coming up? We can help you out. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $27.99. And if you need it fast, we can help you get it fast. Whether it's at home with our next day delivery or in store and curbside with our free same day pickup. The choice is yours. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right?
Of course, making sure you have no holes in your defense.
Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless, and you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G.
And no contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Check out terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
There's a new modern patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge are in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows. There's no better time. Duval! Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I mean, I think it's like any other season in some ways, but obviously way different than others. In the same way, it's, be where your feet are. If I'm here in the building, that's all I can do until they tell me I have to leave. I'm going to give it all I have here. And if I can't be in here, then I'm going to figure out how to get better at home, how to up our team from home. But hopefully we get everybody healthy, have everybody in the building this whole year.
Yeah, it'd be nice. That's what we've been talking about a little bit. We'll see if the Jaguars can do that, and Lady Luck will have to be on their side a little bit. Did you see the big explosion in Beirut?
Yeah, man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was some incredible video out of Beirut near a port that obviously was carrying something very explosive in the buildings that blew up, and it was just unreal. If you haven't seen it yet, they're saying now more than 50 are dead and 2,700 injured, and my guess is underneath the rubble they're going to find a lot more. So
it looks something out of like a movie.
It
man.
really
it
did.
does not look real
Like
at all. It's insane.
And the thing is, on Twitter, when you first jump on and you see something like that, you're like, okay, is this real?
Yeah. I mean,
because is somebody
it's
just
sad
messing?
that your mind has to go there, but that's
But it
back
goes
to the
there.
matter. Yeah.
And the amount of video that's captured, like I just saw a car driving by, and they were obviously taking the first plume of smoke that was, which was already pretty big. There had to be a pretty decent explosion then, or fire going on before that huge explosion, and then they just got totally rocked. They said it was felt 180 miles away. That's how big of an explosion it was.
Can't
amazing.
Imagine. Yeah.
Amazing. And I didn't think about this part until I just read up a little bit on the break, and it said they're obviously dealing. This isn't a United States thing only. They're dealing with the pandemic, coronavirus, and their hospitals have been filled, and now
they're turning people away.
Did you
see
given
that?
this, yeah,
they're turning
and everything shut. They
injured
need generators
people.
and all this stuff. So.
I mean, Yeah, it's chaos, man.
Well, you just think about it. Listen, I'm not thinking about it from an explosion. You just think about anything major that happens even here in the United States that would need hospitals, like whether it's just I don't know what it is. I mean, heck, even sometimes you wonder in some spots right now if it's a major car accident or whatever, do they have the appropriate thing? That's where this all started. This whole pandemic was make sure you don't want a backfill in the hospitals because to treat normal stuff.
Correct.
Well, this wasn't normal. I mean, this is obviously abnormal, and you just keep your fingers crossed around the country, and especially here in the United States, there isn't anything abnormal. That will happen.
I just can't imagine being in the healthcare field and, it's your job to serve others. You have people coming in left and right, bloodied and beaten, and you have to turn them away just because, hey, there's nothing we can do for you right now. It's horrible.
Yeah, go down the road. It's a tough deal. So that's what's happening in Beirut. Stay tuned to Action News Jax really right now if you're at home, CBS 47, Fox 30 for the latest on that. And, of course, coming up at 5 o'clock as well. Well, we formed a new partnership with Florida State here on ESPN 690. We broke that news for you on Friday. We're excited about it and excited really for the Noles fans. Listen, I've been around a dozen years and in Jacksonville, and there's a lot of Gators in town now on the media side. There's places where a lot of Gator talk happens. I think Florida State fans over the years have felt a little bit neglected, even when there was a lot of success.
Yep.
And if you just take it from the idea of where do you find Gene Deckerhoff calling your games on Saturdays, I mean, you needed to Google it or ask a million people to find it.
Yeah.
And same goes for what has been a highly successful basketball program the last few years, especially with Leonard Hamilton. Well, now you got a place to go is the bottom line, ESPN 690. And in conjunction with that, we just think, hey, if we're going to have Florida State, let's talk a little Florida State. So we'll try to do that more often than maybe we have. And let's begin.
Let's get it.
Because the ACC season is happening. There's still some interesting things going on with the +1 game. Who are they going to play? How's that going to work out? Some decisions need to be made, but they're going to try to give it a go. We told you all about that last week when the ACC came out with the news and Notre Dame basically joining the conference and Florida State adding Notre Dame and the schedule getting turned around a little bit. Some leaving the schedule, others added to it. And now it's a really good-looking schedule for Florida State, which also makes it a tougher schedule, it looks like, for Florida State. Mike Norvell, new coach. Gene Deckerhoff, we had him on Friday, said, hey, he really likes the feel around there around Norvell. And part of that is the quarterback position. It's no secret. All you have to do is look here in the state of Florida. When teams have been good at the college level, they usually have a pretty decent signal caller.
Yep.
That's just the way it is in football all around the country on every level. And Florida State, when they had Jameis Winston, it was national championship and another trip to the Final Four. They thought they had some more hope with guys coming in right after Jameis Winston, from DeAndre Francois to others. And James Blackman has been kind of the guy the last couple of years. He's still there. But there's also some others to talk about with Norvell. He has options. Jordan Travis, Chubba Purdy, who's supposed to be really good. We'll see if he's able to acclimate quick enough. Tate Rodemaker as well. So finally, when Willie Taggart couldn't get quarterbacks signed in his 2-year tenure, Mike Norvell at least has some options and more on the way, but including a guy like James Blackman, who's been steady and at least has some veteran experience he can lean on. Got to be the favorite to be the guy in the fall.
See, he could be the favorite, but there's a couple caveats to that, Brent, right? Because I always say this, you're only as good as your last game, okay? If you look at James Blackman's last game, Sun Bowl, Arizona State, you probably saw how he did. 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, 14 for 26, 244 yards. And keep in mind, that 1 touchdown was like a long 90-yard pass, right? So predominantly that entire game, James Blackman didn't show up. That's our last footage that we have of James Blackman. Now, I know what you're going to say, well, that's just one game. Okay, but keep in mind, a couple years ago, a guy by the name of Alex Hornibrook threw 4 touchdowns against Miami in the Orange Bowl, went 23 for 34, became the Orange Bowl MVP, and all of a sudden people were optimistic about him coming to Florida State because, well, he crushed Miami. So that game, how much does it really mean? A little bit, okay? I'm going to say just a little bit. But here's what I think right now with Norvell's offense coming in. It's an up-tempo offense and also a pro-style offense. So what does that tell you? It tells you that you have to have a guy that can handle the pressure. You have to have a guy who's experienced, who can make the right plays, number one, but also, two, who doesn't turn the ball over. Now, when you have a new coach coming in, there's 2 philosophies. Either you go with the seasoned vet, obviously this year, it would be James Blackman. You go with the guy who's been in the program a little bit because that's the guy that can kind of usher in the new era, right? Like, the most important position on the field is a quarterback position. So you want to have a guy who's kind of been ingrained in the trenches a little bit, who has the experience, who has that leadership. There's one way to look at it. The other way would be like a Chubba Purdy, where it's like, you know what? This is my guy. I recruited him. This is my guy. He's got what I want in a quarterback. Let's get him in right away. Keep in mind this year with COVID-19, I think the Florida State Seminoles only had 3 spring practices. Usually the spring is where the vets get to shine. Usually the spring would be like, all right, James Blackman is, ingrained in this new offense. He's got to be the clear favorite going forward. But you only had 3 practices. So how much does James Blackman know right now about this offense? Probably not that much. So with that being said, I think James Blackman is by far the clear-cut favorite right now as a starter. But I'm just saying that leash right now is not as long as I think people are going to think it is, just because he's still trying to learn this new offense as well. And if Chubba Purdy kind of, exemplifies the fact that he can pick up a new offense, and obviously he's Norvell's guy, well, you might be seeing him start sooner than later.
It's a similar question that we asked when Willie Taggart was there. It's not like, okay, who do you think is the best quarterback, best option right now to win right now, or do you think who fits the system? Mm-hmm. And I remember when we were in Tallahassee and we go to the media days, we asked Willie Taggart about like who fits, trying to get a grip on like what kind of fit is, and they wouldn't really clear-cut answer that. Well, we know how that all worked out with Willie Taggart. Yeah. But what will the fit be for Norvell? What does he see? To your point, I mean, you just said it. And how much – I always think, though, coaches lean on what they know. Mm. And what you know is what you've seen from Blackman. Yeah, there might be the 4-interception game. Mm-hmm. But there's also a guy with a big arm and a lot of games under his belt that makes you feel better, makes you feel a little more comfortable as you go into your first year with all this uncertainty around. So I think he's got to be the prohibitive favorite just for that. Also, the last impression is an interesting point. But I'm going to bring you to another guy that had a last impression in college, and it wasn't pretty. And, well, you know his name. You have him on your fantasy team, Lamar Jackson, right here at the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, sure. Man. We watched Lamar Jackson, and it kind of put in my mind. Now, we had seen, but once you see it up close, it put in my mind as like, I mean, there was no surprise in my opinion that he went as low as he went in the first round. Mm. A lot of it based off that game because I hadn't watched him up close. Sure. But, well, now look, right? Mm-hmm. So I think we got to be careful to put too much stock in one game. I get the last impression. And Norvell, those guys have been around it long enough. They're not putting everything into the one game. They're watching a bunch of tape, and they're seeing him up close. But I think from an outside perspective, we can't get too wrapped up in that last impression because, again, right here in Jacksonville, I watched Lamar Jackson do it. 2 years later, he's the MVP of the NFL.
No, it's a great point. And obviously, you have to go by the whole steak, not just the sizzle, right? I mean, and that's exactly what this coaching staff is doing right now. Also, keep in mind with James Blackman, this happened to Francois as well. 2 very, very promising quarterbacks whose offensive line play really did him 0 favors, okay? And I think if you take that into account as well, and I'm pretty sure this coaching staff will, I think they realize that James Blackman could be special going forward, but he has to have the guys around him to do that. Mm-hmm. Right now, he's had the offensive firepower. He's had the speed, obviously. He's had the running game, but has he had the offensive line to dominate the trenches? Not recently. So I think, obviously with Norvell coming in as well, you have to ask yourself, are we comfortable putting a first-year guy back there right now with offensive line situations? And probably not right now. And also one more caveat, too, as well, where this is the college football of the modern era, Brent. Usually you'd be like, all right, well, let's go ahead and let's bring these 2 guys coming in now. Let's bring them along, right? Let's go ahead and redshirt them their first year. Let's get them acclimated to the college lifestyle, and then let's bring them along. But nowadays, man, the quarterback position is so cutthroat, where if Chuba Purdy's not starting in 2 years, one could say, well, is he going to start at all? Because
he's probably transferring.
Exactly, because every single year, new quarterbacks are coming in and quarterbacks are transferring. So to say, well, this kid's inexperienced, it's going to be his first year, he hasn't had a spring, I get all that stuff. But I'm just saying, if you know, then you know, and you put him in right away, and it is what it is. And it kind of keeps in mind, too, for Jordan Davis, a guy last year who was the backup quarterback, got some starting playing time, obviously beat the teams more with his legs than with his arm, but showed, quote-unquote, some promise in the spring. Now, that's 3 spring practices. Take that how you want. But it kind of begs the question, do you see Jordan Davis then being that backup role, and you sit the 2 freshman quarterbacks coming in, or do you just say, you know what, Chuba Purdy's my guy. I recruited him. I want him in. And Jordan Davis, we'll see what you got, man. But Chuba Purdy's going to be the backup quarterback just in case it goes south real quick.
Yeah, Jordan Travis.
I'm sorry,
So you got Blackman, Travis, Purdy, and Rodemaker. And I love what you're saying. It would be wow if Norvell, right out of the gates, goes with a guy like Purdy or Rodemaker or one of those kind of guys, right? Yeah. Because it's a little – I wouldn't say it'd be unconventional, but it would also show this great faith, and we think this kid's really good. I think that would be almost encouraging for the fan base of Florida State who's trying to find that next guy. I just think from an odds perspective, it's unlikely to do that, but it would say a lot. Yeah. It would really say a lot of small samples of what they've been able to see. By the way, Florida State gets going on Thursday. And they'll start this march toward a season that we hope happens. And again, we'll keep an eye on positive tests and negative tests and everything to get to a season. The X factor question for me is what we've been saying about Florida State for a long time. And it didn't matter if Jimbo Fisher was there. It didn't matter if Willie Taggart was there. Now it doesn't matter if Mike Norvell's there. Is their offensive line improved? And so when you talk about the quarterbacks and when we bring up the quarterbacks, Blackman has played behind a porous offensive line. You wonder if they're even just a little improved from what they've been. He might have his best chance to succeed right now. That's the X factor is, did they make that better? Are they good enough? And it's a lot to ask for Norvell because he's just in here year number 1. If they haven't, by year 2 and year 3, they better be a heck of a lot better on the offensive line. That's something that's almost gone a decade now, it feels like. Even when they, it was something they were able to hide.
Correct.
In the later years of Jimbo Fisher, and they really haven't been able to correct ever since the national championship run.
Well, and that kind of, to me, is the biggest question here is, are you confident right now, if you were to go the freshman direction and you were to start Purdy or Rodemaker, would you feel comfortable right now with them behind that offensive line, right? Because it's one thing to come from high school and have all these accolades and be these 4- and 3-star recruits against probably some pretty good offensive line play, right? Like you're accustomed right now to having a clean pocket, making decisions, and doing what your high school coach tells you to do. But we see this happen in the pros all the time. I was a part of it with the whole Blaine Gabbert era. Now, not to say Blaine Gabbert's offensive line was bad, but he got hit a couple times, and it changed his complete mindset. And this was at the professional level, right? This was at the level where he's supposed to shine and everything like that. So I'm just saying, if you're not comfortable right now with your offensive line going forward, then James Blackman is by far your favorite to start for the Florida State Seminoles this year, just because he has the experience. He has been in the trenches a little bit, taking those grenades, and you might as well throw him back out there until you have everything shored up with your O-line.
Last thought, Mike Norvell, at least here at an FSU at 4. Wow. Coming in and everything to deal with the pandemic. Obviously got himself in a little bit of hot water, if you will, with the players early on. And it's going to be fascinating to watch. Is he the guy? And it will be a dangerous territory to get into for Florida State if he's not the guy. Because once you go 2 cycles of coaching and he's not the guy, then you're in a dangerous, dangerous territory. If you look down the road at Florida, they didn't have the guy for 2 cycles. Now, I never think Muschamp gets enough credit for what he kind of did to clean things up. That's what he was asked to do. But he didn't win enough football games. And then, you go on your second cycle, don't win enough football games. Well, third cycle, they hit it with Mullen. He's winning football games. Florida State doesn't want to get into that position where this doesn't work out, and then they're looking for that third cycle of coaching. And if it doesn't work out after 3 cycles, you get into this period of time where you just haven't won for a decade, and it's hard to overcome. It's an abyss. I mean, heck, If you go back, nobody remembers this. Look it up, kids. But Alabama was in that situation. You know, they didn't win for a long time in the 90s because they made the wrong choices, wasn't the best fits at coaching. It's a big couple of years for Mike Norvell and for Florida State to be right.
Let me ask you this, right? Because this is still Florida State at the end of the day. And I still think expectations are high. I still think that the name Florida State, it carries some cachet. It carries some pomp and circumstance. I think right now the recruiting class coming 2021 would dictate that, where Florida State is still that cool brand. People want to be a part of it. How much falls on Norvell this year with the hard schedule and obviously everything going on with COVID-19 right now, if he was not to succeed right away, and if he was to come in and have an underachieving season, how much pressure should be under him to be like, hey, man, you were brought here to turn this thing around, and you didn't that first year? The outcry that should come from Florida State fans, would it be warranted, or would you tell them, hey, relax, this is different, this is a crazy year, just give them a couple years and let's see what we got here?
Listen, I think as crazy as fans can be, I think across the board, when a new guy comes in, people are excited, but they're also patient in year one. I think there's a honeymoon cliche for a reason. And I think that honeymoon period is real. I think people are willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. Here's what got Willie Taggart in trouble. And I'll even go back to Jacksonville, even say Gus Bradley to a degree. And hang on for the Gus Bradley part. But Willie Taggart, what got him in trouble is he comes in, he's supposed to be this offensive guy.
Sure.
And the offense couldn't even line up.
Yeah,
they could not even line up and make and run a play. Like, it was like you were watching JV out there. So if you're an offensive guy, you've got to show that your offense is at least has potential to take it to a next step. Norvell, I think what he has to show here is that this offense looks like it can be something. Even if it's not everything in year one, it has the potential to be something down the road and give you hope into year two. To me, that would have nothing to do with the pandemic either. I just think that would be the expectation if I was a Florida State fan. Like, fix this offense. You're an offensive guy. Look what you did at Memphis. You did Memphis's offense run and be fun to watch. We want a fun offense to watch again. We want to be good. So as long as he showcases that, and why do I bring Gus Bradley into it? I say if Gus Bradley came in as what? A defensive guy. He was the guy that helped build Seattle. He was the guy that put the Legion of Boom on the map. Well, they come in here and they try to fix the offense first. Like, Bradley waited and Dave Caldwell and the administration here in Jacksonville brought a defensive guy in and waited until year 3 and 4 to fix the defense. If you're coming in as a defensive guy, show us that you're a defensive guy and then fix the offense.
Sure.
Well, if you're Mike Norvell, you're an offensive guy. What I want to see out of Mike Norvell this year is that offense translates from Memphis to Tallahassee.
But see, I still think the wins and losses, they matter, Brent, even in that first year. Now, I understand.
You can't be awful at Florida State. Of course. And Willie had those problems too.
Correct. And listen, yeah, it was a lot of lack of discipline and things like that. Guys not lined up. I'll give you that as well. But keep in mind what happened that year with Willie Taggart. Another guy by the name of Dan Mullen goes to Florida, okay? When both schools were recruiting for their new coaches, you had Dan Mullen, you had Willie Taggart. And I'm not sure people feel about this, but I think Willie Taggart, to me, was a sexier pick back then. When Willie Taggart went to Florida State, Dan Mullen went to Florida, I was like, oh, Willie Taggart, man, this offensive guru, he's going to turn Florida State. Exactly. Like, I was excited for that. Dan Mullen, yeah, I get it. He had some good years in Mississippi State. Didn't win the big one, didn't win a conference championship, but it's kind of like vanilla ice cream. We'll see what happens. Well, what happens that first year? Willie Taggart struggles. It's an embarrassing season for the Florida State Seminoles. Dan Mullen comes in right away. Florida Gators, they improve. They don't miss a beat. All of a sudden, they're kind of like the toast of the town. Everyone's surprised. Whoa, Dan Mullen's got these guys playing good. And there's optimism after that first year. I'm just saying this year, in terms of the Florida State Seminoles, I understand in terms of the roster, the offensive line, the question marks, there's a lot there. And in COVID-19, there's a lot there as well. But I still think expectations should be a successful season, because if not, it could be a Willie Taggart scenario all over again.
And you always have talent at Florida State.
Yeah.
Offensively and defensively, they have two of the studs in the entire country, in Terry and Wilson. That's not enough. You can't win with one guy on each side of the ball. This isn't the NBA or even college hoops in that respect. But I believe the expectation should be, yes, win some games. Again, bad seasons in big-time college football, or if you have 6 wins, that's a bad season. So if you could get to 7 wins and 8 wins and be there, that'd be great. But I think it's deeper dive than that. Show me that you're an offensive guy and this offense is going to look pretty good now, but it's going to look really good someday. Like, I can buy into that and see that, and I can do that at the quarterback position, and please show me that you're going to help fix that offensive line. Yeah. Because if I'm a Florida State fan, I'm tired of that narrative. Again, you're Florida State. Why can't you get a few offensive linemen to come to Tallahassee and at least be respectable? They have not had a good offensive line.
And you would think, too, in this new offense coming in, at least what we think is going to happen. I mean, listen, you have the skill guys. You're always going to have your skill guys there. You're always going to have those Cam Akers dynamic players. Now, what you do with them, that's on you. And that's your job to find out where you put them to make them shine. Obviously, I think we saw Cam Akers last year come on. It's like, why isn't he getting the ball every single play? Why isn't this guy touching the ball literally on every single? Exactly. Yeah. And obviously now the Rams, I mean, he's kind of slated to be the starting running back there, so we'll see how he pans out. But I'm just saying, you're always going to have those offensive weapons, those skill position guys, those playmakers. Shore up that offensive line. If you do that, you're going to have a great shot at winning some ball games.
Well, FSU at 4 for you Noles fans. Hope you jump in on ESPN 690, your official home of the Florida State Seminoles. In football and basketball coming up this fall, you can hear the games, the coaches show, and more. Always jump in the conversation if you want to talk some Noles. We're ready for it right here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Got some NBA talk on the horizon. We always will get back to the football talk, including Gardner Minshew. I want to deep dive into the numbers a little bit. Also want to ask the question about Minshew in this respect. We had the Pac-12 conversation yesterday. How much money would Minshew have made if the likeness and image stuff was already intact?
I like it.
Let's go there next on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny, hot, and humid today. Scattered afternoon and early evening showers and thunderstorms. Highs 90 to 95, dropping into the mid-70s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, zero interest financing. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Celebrate your love with end-of-summer savings now at Beard's Diamonds.
Right now at Beard's, take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing.
Yes, 5 years, zero-interest financing with zero down.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500. You pay just $25 a month. But it's only for a limited time and only at Beard's Diamonds.
Located at the St. John's Town Center.
The current coronavirus outbreak has caused difficulties for many of our area's small businesses. From losing customers to falling behind in payments, business owners need help. At SCORE, our highly trained counselors are here to help. In Jacksonville, SCORE provides services to almost 6,000 individuals annually. We are currently mentoring virtually and identifying possible financial assistance through the SBA and other resources. Visit jacksonville.score.org for links with more information.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Our legal team can help you understand your options after an accident. We will file your claim and fight for the full compensation you deserve. If you've been involved in a car accident, Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent. With help from Family Support Services of North Florida, you provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows. There's no better time. Duval! Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by StarStar, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing StarStar Mobile from your mobile phone. That's StarStar Mobile.
With COVID-19, even more local families need food, and kids could use something to smile about. Give a gift in any amount to Jewish Family and Community Services, and it will automatically double. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for hunger, here for Jack.
Hey everybody. This is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting offense. I think everybody, so far has been really enjoying learning it. Very excited for what it's going to bring to us. I think, you just gets the ball out of your hands and distributes it to guys that can make plays. And I think we've got plenty of those guys too. So I think everybody's excited for what Jay's bringing and, what, we got coming back.
The Jaguars do have quite a bit coming back on offense. Really the only starter on offense not back is Tyler Eifert. I'm sorry, not back. Added is Tyler Eifert. Everybody else is back.
Mm-hmm.
If you have that same situation around the NFL, everybody's like, hey, I feel pretty good about it. In Jacksonville, it's like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that just that alone would get more confidence from picks and prognosticators and analysts.
Well,
I mean, for instance, obviously KC's offense is dynamic, and I think they return everybody now. Damian Williams and the offensive lineman won't, but they had basically returned everybody maybe except one player. And, well, that's one of the reasons people are picking them to go back, because they returned everybody. So that's just the dynamic. And listen, I'm not trying to say the Jags guys that are coming back are the Chiefs. I understand there's a big difference there, but it's fascinating.
Well, it's just, listen, the fact when you go 6-10, you come off a 6-10 year, and you say, well, you're returning all your offensive starters, it doesn't really give you a lot of confidence because, once again, you went 6-10 last year. I mean, that's what it is.
That's true. I know, but when you return all your starters and you went 6-10, how do people predict you to be 2-14?
I don't know, man, because teams get better, and I guess you can say, well, did the Jaguars get better on offense? Now, yes, listen, we can say yes, they have, because Gardner Minshew's going into his second year. You add Laviska Shenault, you add Gruden, who's supposed to be, a better suited offensive coordinator for this team. So, yeah, there's plenty of explanations why. But I'm just saying every team in the NFL has gotten better on offense, right? So it's just shades of how much better have you got. And once again, coming off a 6-10 season where you didn't really add a lot of pieces, it's like, well, how much better are you really?
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I kind of get it. I don't get it because I think the Jags will be better than people think. So I guess I shouldn't say I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand such the odds makers and everything else, but they've been way more right than me in my 12 years in Jacksonville.
No, for sure. Well, listen, Brent, it comes down to this. What teams do you think right now are worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars on paper coming from last season?
Yeah, it's a battle for the worst.
Yeah,
I get it.
You can
Battle
make an
for
argument.
bad.
Obviously, the Redskins, you can maybe throw the Dolphins out there. Sorry, South Beach, Gary, but the Dolphins out there. And maybe the Bengals. But
yeah, the Bengals would be in that.
Yeah, but it's all in the same tier, though. You know what I'm saying?
My question is this. Well, let's just take the two teams that we love to talk about the most when we do this. And that's Arizona and the Jags.
Yes.
The Arizona Cardinals did one thing. They added DeAndre Hopkins. Very good player. And they did more than that, but one glaring thing. They added Hopkins.
Yep.
Jags added Tyler Eifert. People think Murray and the Cardinals, because they added Hopkins again, a good addition to the team, they were 5-10-1 last year.
Sure.
So that's where I guess I can't compartmentalize. Yes, great player they added. Absolutely. Maybe the best wide receiver in the game. Is the best wide receiver worth 4 or 5 wins?
Well, keep in mind, too, I mean, the emergence of Kenyon Drake was big for them towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was a fantasy football dynamo like the past 4 or 5 weeks of the season. I mean, even so much where they actually traded away Arizona's favorite son and David Johnson. There was a time where David Johnson was supposed to be the bell cow of the Arizona Cardinals. Enter Kenyon Drake, and it's like, David Johnson who? We're not worried about you, man. Go have fun in Houston. We're getting DeAndre Hopkins now. So like I still think there's intrigue in terms of what that running game is going to look like. And now you pair that, obviously, with Kyler Murray. You pair that with an Andy Isabella coming off of an injury, but hopefully going to be healthy this year, entering his second season. You pair that with a very veteran-friendly Larry Fitzgerald. You pair that with DeAndre Hopkins. You pair that now with Christian Kirk going into another year. And also you got some pretty interesting things taking place. So I just think from an offensive perspective, obviously there's more to like right now from the Cardinals' perspective, but let's be honest, it's unproven. Like, we don't know if Kingsbury is the real deal or not. But I just think on paper, what Kenyon Drake showed you and all those things I just mentioned, you got Max Williams, too, now at tight end. You know, I liked him a lot, and I wanted the Jacksonville Jaguars to get him. We'll see how he pans out. I think there's a lot to like right now in the Cardinals' offense.
Yeah, I know. But you're not alone there.
I know, yeah.
I hope, just please, for me, just have the Jags be better than the Cardinals. Because I'm going to have fun with that.
Sure.
If the Jags are 31st in the league, just have the Cardinals be 32nd.
I got you. I mean, let's be honest. Whose offense you taking right now, the Cardinals or the Jaguars?
I get it. I just don't know if it's worth an 8-game swing.
Sure.
I don't see why the Jags are 2-14 now after 6-10, and Kyler Murray and the Cardinals are 10-6 after 5-10-1. But that's what people think.
Well,
that's a huge swing.
But who are those people though? Because let's be honest, you play in the hardest division in all of football. So to just sit here and say the Cardinals are probably going to beat the Seahawks, they're going to beat the 49ers, and even compete with the Rams, I'd say you're crazy. Like, listen, I think the Cardinals are going to be great this year, but I probably don't even see them going to the playoffs just because I think that the division they play in is that competitive. So
then don't say they're going to be great because that could be the most overused word in sports broadcast.
All right, my bad, but I also don't think they're going to go 10-6. And I'm not sure who's saying 10-6 right now, but there's no way they're going to go 10. And I'll make a bet right now. There's no way the Cardinals go 10-6 in that division.
Okay, but everybody thinks, I would say, given the expectation of the Cardinals, people believe 9-7.
Okay.
Nobody's talking nobody's talking about the expectation of the Cardinals and saying, yeah, the Cardinals, man, wait till you see them. They're going to be 8-8. I mean, nobody says that.
I think that'd be an upgrade, though, from last year.
Well, it would, by 2.5 games.
We're talking the Jaguars going 8-8 would be parading in the streets right now.
It would.
I think if the Cardinals go 8-8, I think they'd actually be pretty optimistic. Like, all right, we got something going here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people would be disappointed in 8-8 the way they're talking about the Cardinals.
I got you. Okay.
That's the way my view of it is.
Sure.
Anyway, hey, what if the Super Bowl was worth $200 million to a team? Now, in essence, I guess it kind of is. Like, if you win the Super Bowl, go to the Super Bowl, it probably is. So
yeah.
Why are we talking? I understand we're not a soccer crazy country, and especially here on the show. But there is something on the table today, essentially for about $200 million, with Fulham playing in this match to try to get to the Premier League. Like, if I don't know if soccer needs it. Like, I don't know if Fulham needs it. I don't know if Premier League needs it. They're so big all over the world anyway.
Sure.
But for the way I would explain it to the American fan is just like that. I would bill it as it's a $200 million game. Because apparently that's I couldn't find exactly the money, but Stewart says it's like $200 million. And I've heard that. I've heard $200 to $300 million. That's what it's worth going up the Premier League.
Man.
And so, I mean, wow, you got my attention. If I say it's $200 to $300 million for this one match, 90 minutes, $200 to $300 million.
Yeah.
But it's not billed that way. It's interesting, but that's the reality of it for Shad Khan, who owns Fulham, and obviously Fulham trying to get back to the Premier League today.
Well, it's kind of crazy too, right? Because it goes to show you it doesn't pay to be the big fish in the small pond, right? Like, let's say Fulham doesn't make it. And let's see Fulham in their respective division that has a great a year, and maybe they even win, and I'm not sure, once again, I'm not a big soccer fan, I'm not sure what the league is below the Premier Championship League, whatever you would call that. But let's say they do well there, maybe win a championship in that league. No one cares, right? But even if you finish last place in the Premier League, now, honestly, if you do that, you're not going to be there that long, obviously.
Fourth to last is okay.
Exactly. But regardless of that, you'd rather be that smaller fish in the big pond as opposed to the big fish in the small pond.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is such a separation.
Yeah.
You know, and we get it around in the United. I mean, it'd be like the XFL to the NFL. It's like the AHL to NHL. It's the D League or G League or whatever league it's called. What letter league now is it called? To the NBA.
Is it the G League or D? Whatever it is.
To be honest with you, what's that?
G
League.
Gatorade. Yeah.
Gatorade.
The only I think minor league baseball has a different feel in that sense. Like, there's still a value to minor league baseball, maybe not as much as a player, of course. Like, players and owners, we know the millions and billions are being made at the Major League Baseball level. So in that sense, it is the same. I think we think there's such a separation, I think, and if we're, as a fan, watching the G League versus the NBA. Like, we're not watching the G League. I'm not going to a G League game. I'm not. Now, more and more college guys or high school guys are going to it, I think, early, so maybe we will start doing that. But we're willing to go to a minor league baseball game and watch a prospect more so than we are to do that, I think, at the basketball level.
But this is the crazy thing, though, Brent. It's like, imagine being a fan of that professional team. So whether you're a baseball fan, let's say you're a Sox fan, right? And a lot of tradition, a lot of history, been around for a while. Where if you don't do well, you're going back down to the minors, and you can watch minor league games on, cable television at midnight, on the replays. Like, it's just crazy to me where you can be so invested into a team and have that tradition, have that history, and either you're going to be cheering from at the professional level, like at an NBA level, or they're not going to do so well, and they go back down to the G League, and you can cheer from there. It's just, that's baffling. It's wild how that works.
It is pretty wild. Speaking of wild, it's goose eggs. Brentford and Fulham right now, and they're into the 95th minute. They've gone to overtime, 2 15-minute sessions. Then penalty kicks could decide this.
I'm going to turn that game on real quick.
Seriously, though. Shad Khan has plenty of money. Tony Khan is a big investment in terms of being basically the GM of Fulham. Can you imagine being those guys right now?
Hey.
Like, with all that, I mean, seriously, there's a lot on the line. Again, Shad Khan has billions of dollars, right?
Hey, still $200 million, though, man.
$200 million right
200
here.
mil is still $200 million at the end of the day.
Overtime, you got basically 25 minutes left and then penalty kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a rush.
You want to talk about the highest of highest stakes, man. That's insane.
It's awesome, though. Like, I think
if you
this
win.
is.
Sure.
Well, I just think this is what's so cool about sports. Like, we're not talking about Fulham and Brentford playing right now, but I think this is what's cool about sport. I mean, this is what's on the line. Yep. That's what I love about this season in Jacksonville. That is essentially, it's not $200 million, but how much is on the line just from a dollar standpoint for Gardner Minshew in 2020?
Good point.
That lottery ticket is on the line in 2020. Isn't that what we love about sports?
It's literally the all or nothing.
Man.
No, I lived it, and it's that all or nothing type of thing where one bad play, one bad game, and especially one bad season, it can set in wheels of motion changes that could take effect for the next decade to come. I mean, it's literally that we talk about the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars and what it's going to look like. Let's be honest, and I don't put extra added pressure on the guy, but it comes on Gardner Minshew. Like, no one right now in Jacksonville is talking about, well, I like the Jaguars' playoff chances. Let's be honest. I like the Jaguars to win in the division. Like, no one's talking about that right now. People are talking about, is Gardner Minshew going to be the guy going forward or not? And it can literally come down to a couple plays here, a couple plays there, and we'll see what happens. Like, that to me is just wild because, let's be honest. I mean, whether you think they're going to win 8 games, 6 games, 5 games, the expectations this year of the Jacksonville Jaguars, at least from the fan base's perspective, what I've been reading, it's not that high. What it comes down to this year is Gardner Minshew going to be that dude? And to be fair, I mean, yeah, obviously you don't have the optimism of cheering for a division title or going to a Super Bowl, but maybe you got even something bigger to cheer for. We're cheering for your future of your franchise. You're cheering for what the draft's going to look like for the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I've said it before. I think you're cheering for maybe how to reshape the city. I think that, if you could get somebody like Minshew to hit, it doesn't mean the city's going to, if he's not successful, I think there's still opportunities for the city to grow and take those next steps and all the things that want to take place. But I think it could be an awesome collision if Minshew is the guy. There is some drama going on, though. Brentford and Fulham, will keep you posted on that if you're interested at all. I know there's not a ton of you out there staying tuned to this, but you know what? It's the one time, like, I am. I'm interested. A $200 million match? Sign me up. I mean, if it's going to be a horse race for $200 million, I'm in.
If there's a cornhole tournament for $200 million, go and sign me up.
I watched a lot of those this coronavirus season, and I'm telling you, I think I'd have a good shot.
Are you talking about the cornhole tournaments?
Yeah, the Johnsonville cornhole tournament.
You're getting too cocky, my friend.
You'd get so
those guys are good.
You'd be so nervous.
Those guys
I'm so ready to airmail. I'm just saying.
He's using terms. Did you see that what Jorge Masvidal is going to be doing now?
No.
So Jorge Masvidal, UFC, the BMF belt as he holds, is challenging the winner of the Johnsonville Cornhole Tournament, like the champion.
To a boxing match?
No, to a cornhole matchup. And they're going to televise it and everything.
Really?
Yeah. Now, listen, not sure how much cornhole Jorge Masvidal is playing in the streets or anything, but I might tune in to watch that.
Listen.
Yeah.
Cornhole is one of those things that everybody's like, yeah, well, I could do that, and I could be on it. It's exactly what Kuz just said.
Yeah.
You wouldn't beat those guys.
Yeah.
You wouldn't beat them. You might be able to compete with them for one. You wouldn't beat them.
You wouldn't beat them.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm pretty good at cornhole.
Hey, you know what? Pretty good only counts in what, Brett?
Hey, horseshoes and hand grenades.
Thank you very much.
You know what else?
What's close, but yeah.
But that's literally the goal of cornhole is to get it close.
No, you get in the hole every single time. That's what these guys do.
Well, they do, yeah. And I would.
But can you do that?
If playing them and they made every single one, then yeah, I would because I'd have to.
I can be pretty good at golf, and I could not play with those guys.
Unbelievable.
That's my point.
The grand illusion on the show right now is just it's unbelievable. If you think you can actually compete with these guys, Kuz.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance.
These guys wear armbands. They wear Allen Iverson sleeves. You know why? Because they have to. They take it that seriously.
We should do an ESPN 690 cornhole tournament.
We can do that.
When's the last time you were wearing an Allen?
You do well in that.
When's the last time you were wearing an Allen Iverson arm sleeve playing cornhole?
I've never worn.
You know why? Because you don't take it seriously.
Well, because I also think it's a weird look for a pickup basketball game to be wearing.
Do you know why? Because you don't take it seriously, and that's why. And that's why they're on TV and you're not.
Because the Dream 18's coming up September 14th. As a side play, you host the cornhole tournament for the Dream 18 after the golf.
We'll have to okay, that'd be fun.
All right.
I can't wait to play Kuz in some cornhole. Because the way you're talking right now, you better beat me by at least 10. Or else I'm going to let you know about it. I'm just saying. The arrogance right now coming from you. It's palpable.
By the way, you can sign up for the Action Sports Jax Dream 18 at actionsportsjaxdream18.com. Thank you for that easy segue to register for the golf tournament. Real quick thought. Yesterday we had the Pac-12 stuff. Today a lot of Minshew. How much money would Minshew have made off his likeness and image at Wazoo?
Especially at Wazoo, man, where those kids are weird over there. They'll spend money on anything. Yeah. I mean, listen.
And I'm not looking for a dollar figure. I'm just saying, would he have been?
Well, in terms of the mustache.
Like last year, who won the Heisman last year?
Do what now?
Who won the Heisman last year?
That's a good question. Why'd you put me on the spot?
Let's just say Trevor Lawrence. Oh, no, Joe Burrow.
Burrow? Yeah.
Okay, so, hey, no, seriously.
I forgot what year we're in.
I'm going to take Joe Burrow.
Sure.
LSU.
Yeah.
High profile, breaking records, wins the Heisman.
Go Tigers.
Gardner Minshew.
Yep.
Out in Wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it wasn't last year that he was there, but for this exercise.
Yep.
Off likeness and image and all the things you could do, is Burrow making way more money?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, listen, Gardner Minshew, he had that folk appeal, right? Where when he played in Wazoo, that was a perfect place for him to be. And I think in Wazoo, obviously the mustaches they would have sold in the search, I'm sure he would have made his money. But Joe Burrow, man, Heisman Trophy winner, national championship. Listen, we saw the Senior Bowl with Gardner Minshew there. Nobody was talking to Gardner Minshew.
That's a good point.
I did, but nobody was talking to him. So with that being said, if Joe Burrow goes to Senior Bowl, you better believe everyone's gathered around him. So Joe Burrow's better to make a lot more money.
I guess my point is, you could do, aviator, jorts, all that stuff. I mean, what's Burrow doing? Signing footballs, I guess.
Winning.
Well, I know. I'm talking about the dollars, though.
But dude, if you're a Heisman Trophy winner and if you're a national champion, that sells more than hype.
Would they? So then, if you look at the last 5 years of Heisman winners, do you think they would be the highest earning off their name and likeness of that year?
Well, let me take a look at it when we
come back. I was going to say, do you have those last 5 Heisman winners?
But we're going to run out of time.
We'll answer that on the other side. Plus, more of Minshew behind the numbers. Not the dollars, but the numbers. I saw an interesting article. Want to share it with you next on ESPN 690.
Look, guys, I haven't had the wings at Magic City.
You've heard him on First Take, and now you get even more, Max.
Ha, we can make a joke about it and all this. He's out for his grandfather's funeral, right? That's a real reason to leave the bubble. But there's a reason the NBA's got a fighting chance, and a good one, to actually crown a champion. And then when you're gone, just don't do it, or they're going to jeopardize their season.
The Max Kellerman Show, August 17th at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right?
Of course, making sure you have no holes in your defense.
Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless, and you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G.
And no contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Check out terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Today, pros have to do whatever it takes. The Home Depot is here to make that easier. We've got the products you know and trust on our app, delivery options to get what you need exactly where you need it, and a delivery tracker that keeps you up to date on the status of your order, so you can keep doing what you do best, whatever it takes to get the job done. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
This following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and its radio station.
This is Craig Fugate, the former director of Florida Emergency Management. In this time of COVID, you need to update your hurricane preparedness plan. That means knowing what evacuation zone you live in, and in order to leave, you need to go. Take your pets and stay with family or friends, or at an inland hotel. Shelters are another option. Know your zone, know your home. For more information, go to floridastorms.org. That's floridastorms.org.
Been dreaming of subway tile and butcher block counters? Outdoor kitchens and pavers?
Oh, honey.
The weather's great and it's time to knock out those nagging home projects with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Borrow up to 90% loan to value and pay no closing costs. Best of all, we'll give you a free wheelbarrow. That's right, a free wheelbarrow. Apply today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Just please, no more shiplap.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
there's a new, modern, patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge. We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
Jags in this together is not just a hashtag. We believe it, and we are living it, all of us. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. These may be uncertain times, but we can still lift each other up, share a laugh, a smile, and even a shout out. If you would like to recognize someone, maybe a healthcare worker, a truck driver, someone who works for a local restaurant, or maybe it's someone's birthday, call ** 690. Leave a message and we will share it on ESPN 690. That's ** 690. Give it a call and help make somebody's day.
The team called a false positive test. Jags QB Gardner Minshew also off the COVID list and back on the active roster. We're 2 days away from the start of golf's first major of the year, the PGA Championship. One of the key players to watch, obviously, Tiger Woods. He's playing in just his 4th tournament since January. He's played in only 4 rounds since the restart.
Competitively, I haven't played that much, but I am the results that I've seen at home. Very enthusiastic about some of the changes I've made, and so that's been positive. Keep building, keep getting ready, and be ready come Thursday.
Tiger Woods PGA Championship coverage Thursday morning on ESPN+. Baseball catcher Yadier Molina, one of 6 Cardinals players named publicly as having tested positive for COVID-19. In all, 13 members of the organization have tested positive. Tennis defending champ Rafael Nadal won't play in this year's U.S. Open due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Yeah, I'm so excited for DJ. He's put the work in these last couple years, and the results are showing. We want him to be the guy that if he's one-on-one, we like that matchup every time. And we're going to put a lot of faith in him, a lot of trust in him. And I'm so excited to, keep working with him, keep getting better with him, as well as the other guys in the room.
That's Gardner Minshew. By the way, you can question whether DJ Chark's a number 1 wide receiver or not, or what you think. He's their number 1 wide receiver, and I think Gardner Minshew just showcased that. Yeah. Hey, a little marketing 101. If there's a big soccer match going on somewhere in the world,
yep.
If you put it on our show and you tweet it out,
yep,
it does pretty well.
It does pretty well. ESPN 690, home your Fulham.
I wasn't even thinking
coverage.
of it like this, but
Football.
I was watching, and Fulham takes the lead 1-0 in extra time.
Nicely stated.
Not overtime.
No,
but extra time. And I got excited. Sure. It was a great goal.
Yeah.
Joe Bryant, great goal. And so I just updated while we're in commercial. Mm-hmm. I figured, hey, we were just talking about it.
Yep.
And so I updated 1-0, 1-0,
mm-hmm.
and we had a bunch of people on. They must have been searching for Fulham.
Viewership's high right now, Brent. Your time to shine right now.
Yeah, and not only that, this is a great Twitter handle, by the way. 1-900-909-9900 just responds a live video of a guy texting. Riveting. And nice Twitter handle.
We're in a commercial.
Stevie says extra time, not overtime.
Yep, correction.
Thanks for
on
the
that
correction,
one.
Stevie. We actually had that which was classic because somebody gave Stewart a hard time when he said tie instead of a draw.
Ah.
And so there was
and then Stewart of all people too.
Stewart, Stewart who knows soccer.
Yeah,
He's our soccer aficionado.
Sure.
Right? And he got all over Stewart for it. And so it was hilarious on Twitter. And then that night on TV I put they ended up getting a draw, sometimes called a tie.
Yep. Well, viewership is still climbing as we speak. Listen, this is the WrestleMania effect. Okay,
a little bit.
We canceled WrestleMania at Sawgrass, and I had to come on and spit my piece for about an hour. If you got anything else to say about Fulham, now's the time.
Well, listen, this is what we were just talking about. If there's $200 million on a match, and that's what it means, and all this is at stake. Yeah, we talk football, American football, a lot. We talk a lot of other sports. We don't talk a lot of football and soccer. But I think it's I'm into it.
No, absolutely.
There's a lot on the line right now for Fulham. Again, we have a connection because Shad Khan and here in Jacksonville and Tony Khan, no doubt. But I think it's interesting. And it was a phenomenal goal, too.
Yeah. Well, and listen, to me, if they pull this off, they go to the Premier League, I mean, it's a testament really to Tony Khan, right? Because we talk about a guy right now who's obviously, he's very much in the analytics side of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, what's his official title with the Jaguars? Do we have one, or like?
I don't know.
President of analytics.
It's an analytics position, yes.
Maybe say president of analytics. Keep in mind, is also now running AEW here in Jacksonville, and trying to go toe to toe, if you will, with a WWE. So now he's in the world of wrestling as well, doing very well with that. Oh, and by the way, he's also the GM of a soccer club or of a football club for all the neighbors, across the pond. So this guy's got a lot on his plate right now. But if he's able to pull this off, Brent, I mean, good on him.
Well, not only that, they've been lambasted at times, much like they have for their football team here in Jacksonville for the product.
Yeah.
And so I think, again, I'm not all over with full disclosure, all over the Fulham temperature. But we've been over there a couple matches, and also if you kind of pay attention to the back and forth, because they've been relegated a couple of times. So they have come under fire, and the criticism has been real at times. There's been back and forth, so I've seen on social media. And so to get back up to the Premier League, potentially, they've still got to finish this thing off, is a big deal. Now, that still doesn't put you amongst the world's best.
Yeah.
Just being you are amongst the world's best. But now can you take it to the next level? That's something since Shad Khan bought the team hasn't been able to do. They've had a little bit of a taste of being in the Premier League, relegated, back to the Premier League, relegated, maybe back to the Premier League. I mean, in many respects, it's like, well, listen, the Jags, Shad Khan has owned them since 2012, and you get the one taste in 17, but you couldn't carry it. You couldn't keep it. You couldn't gain momentum off it.
Yeah.
And I think the Fulham fans have felt the same way in that respect. Is like, can you take us to the next level now? They've to your point about Tony Khan. I mean, it's come with criticism.
No, absolutely.
And so this is a nice bounce back to the team that he's put together. And now here they are on the doorstep of the English Premier League, and that is 6 minutes of soccer talk
and
on
that's
Action
all we
Sports
need.
Jacks on ESPN 690.
I'm going to black out. But listen, with all due respect, though, props to Tony Khan, man. Because if he pulls us off, listen, I can barely run my fantasy football roster without stressing out, all right? Like, sometimes I think I need some Adderall prescribed to me just to run my fantasy football roster. The fact right now, Tony Khan has his hands on the Jacksonville Jaguars, obviously running All Elite Wrestling and doing successful with Fulham. Props to him for that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Listen, why not root for him? That's everybody has their allegiances, so I think, and that's the case over here in the States too, where people who like soccer to that level have their allegiances. Whether it's Manchester United or Chelsea or name your team, but I think it's
Liverpool,
cool if you're a casual
Liverpool
for you. I think it's if you're a casual fan, kind of like I would be considered. I'm rooting for Fulham here.
Yep.
Why not? And I've been a couple times to Craven Cottage, and I love
it. It's a pretty cool atmosphere.
So we talked about that, by the way, a couple weeks ago on the show.
We did.
So we've had some Fulham talk.
Where were you guys then?
Where were you?
Where's everybody else then?
That's right.
You only want to come around when it's hot.
Yeah, welcome to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 here in Jacksonville.
Yep.
Prior to the break, we were talking about, we raised the question, Minshew, would he have image likeness-wise that they're talking about in college sports, would he have made more money than a guy like Joe Burrow, who won the national title, had an historic season? I checked with my man Martin Buckley from Palm Beach Autographs. He does this kind of for a living, you know?
For sure.
And he said Burrow, no doubt. So he agreed with you.
I see it, Martin.
And by the way, like I'm not surprised by that answer. I'm just curious of opinions. So then I turned the tables on him a little bit, and I said, all right, I get it. The quarterback spot, historic season, Heisman Trophy, all that stuff. LSU is LSU.
Yeah.
Washington State's wherever Washington State is.
Yeah.
So what about Derrick Henry? You kind of got a guy that's had a monster year at Alabama, wins the Heisman, but he's not making headlines every Saturday. He's not like Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And then you have this personality with some success for Gardner Minshew. See, I would think the answer there would be Minshew.
Minshew over Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I disagree, Brett.
You did. Well, he did too.
Yeah,
but he did say,
because it
made him think.
But it's Alabama, man. Okay? It's the brand of that Alabama football team.
That's a good point.
And that goes a long way.
But doesn't Minshew, even in college, would he, again, we're asking this question 2 years later, but wouldn't he have transcended from an image, likeness, cool-natured standpoint? Wouldn't he have transcended the whole Alabama versus Washington State program? I mean, look, he's got the mustache with Leach right near him. He's also got a personable coach.
He definitely does, but the problem was that it's the West Coast, man. It's Pac-12 after dark, and I just don't think that West Coast bias would have got people on that radar. Now maybe if you would have played at an SEC school, then definitely. But I just think Minshew being over there in Pullum, right? I believe it's called.
Yeah,
Pullum.
Yep.
Just unfortunately, he didn't get the.
Yeah, I think it's Pullum.
Pullum. Yeah, he just didn't get the.
We're talking Fulham and
hype.
Pullum.
Exactly. Well, coming back, listen.
I'm basically talking about two things I have no idea about.
Listen
Pullum
here,
and Fulham.
Well, and you know what? Hey, and the next game, be sure to obviously tweet out the winner of it. The next
no, that's what I said.
Football game. But here's
Marketing
the thing.
101.
Here's the thing. When the numbers go up, we get our English accents out. So that way we sound legit.
I can't do it.
So now we sound legit.
I thought about coming back with it.
Yeah.
If I could do it.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't pull it off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fulham. I can't do it. I'm going Irish all of a sudden. I don't know what I'm doing.
You'll be in Australia in a moment here. Take us around the world.
Yeah. No, I don't do it.
But
Jamaican? What was that?
To your talk about Minshew and his likeness, do you think, though, now, obviously, that money will be at play, they might lean into that a little bit more? Where, like, Minshew, he had it, but, like, it wasn't like, we got to expose this and keep pumping it out there to make money.
It's a good point. What's interesting is that's a great question, but I read it in a different way. When the image and likeness takes place, see what happens, what you've seen in the Heisman, take the image and likeness out of it for a moment. When you have a Heisman Trophy candidate, you have almost like a campaign sometimes by the university. They'll say Joe Burrow or Justin Fields or Derrick Henry. Alabama really doesn't do it, but we've seen it. They really try to prop their guy up and say, hey, we want to be part of the conversation here. This guy's great. No miss. I think San Diego State did it with a running back. Remember? He led the country in rushing, and I think they tried to push him out there a little bit. Again, in fairness, he wasn't getting a lot of love.
Guy that went to Seattle, was it?
No. What the heck's his name?
Okay,
it was just like 2 years ago. But you get my point. They'll push him. They'll promote him. They'll campaign it.
Yeah.
If now you make money off some of those things, is the university going to push? I would say probably not.
Or would they push, but not with that specific, like with Minshew, right? If it's a mustache, they're not posting, a mustache photo. They're just saying, hey, Gardner Minshew should be in the conversation.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know how they'll treat it because, listen, it's still self-serving for the university. It helps the athlete out, sure, but it's self-serving because you're getting attention for your university, your football program. That's the whole idea of it anyway. And so they're doing that. That'll be interesting study to see how they do that. Take a guy like Minshew. And it will be, take a guy like Johnny Manziel. How will that university push that player when there is money to be made for that player? That's not directly coming into the school.
But let's be honest, though. In terms of now the way to push a player, you have social media, man. So social media is always going to be the king of pushing a player or not. Like back, and I'm reminded of like a guy by the name like Monte Ball for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah,
you remember him? So, and by the way, I wanted to create a T-shirt for him that said "Ball So Hard" because back then it was Jay-Z, Kanye West, that song "Ball So Hard." I mean, it just writes itself. You're just printing dollar bills, but it is what it is. But like nowadays, in terms of the campaign, like I understand some money goes towards that, some energy goes towards getting that Heisman campaign going. But at the end of the day, man, you can just go on Twitter and see the highlights of a game, and you're going to know if that guy's special or not. And then maybe he does like a cool dance like Baker Mayfield did around his teammates, and that's even something. Or maybe you go on the field, if you're Baker Mayfield, you grab your crotch in Kansas, and everyone's make a big deal about that as well. Like, to me, the ability to market yourself, to promote yourself, it comes off this tool right here. And I'm holding my cell phone if you're not watching online. So to me, in terms of endorsing yourself, it's all about the technology, man.
Fulham just went up 2-0. Should I tweet that out again?
Get it, man. Brent, let's go. Double down. Let's go.
They just
double
went up
down.
2-0.
Double
so they are
right
on
as
their way
rain.
now.
Looking right as rain and Fulham. Double down on that. Yeah, got it. I found it. Here we go.
Another bloody score.
Nice. There we go. Yeah. Is it a score or a goal? Goal. Yeah. Right as rain. Brent, right as rain.
Hey, Goose. One more thing. I don't know why I'm so stuck on this. Not the Fulham stuff, but the likeness and image. Like Minshew, I think, is a great character in this. Johnny Manziel would have been a great character in this. We always bring up Tebow's name. But I think Minshew's a better character here because he's on the West Coast. He's not big Power 5 school. He wasn't winning the Heisman Trophy. But we know he's got this sellable image, which is perfect for this conversation. So let me take it one more way. By the way, I think Minshew would find a way. If you wanted to, I think Minshew would outdo Henry in that situation. Now, Martin from Palm Beach Autograph said he doesn't think so, and he knows it way better than me.
Yeah.
And you disagree, and I get it. I actually think Minshew would. Depends how creative they wanted to be and how much they wanted to push it.
Let me ask you this question: A.J. McCarron, Gardner Minshew.
Well, A.J. McCarron, you're asking before Brent Musburger fell in love with his girlfriend.
Okay, so with that being said, A.J. McCarron, his now wife, or Gardner Minshew, who's making the most money? No, so I'm saying A.J. McCarron, his culmination of his college career versus Gardner Minshew, who's making more money.
Again, I do think the Musburger and McCarron
Catherine
and
Webb, wasn't it?
Catherine Webb, I think, right?
Yeah.
Was she Miss America or?
I think just Miss Alabama.
Or was it Miss Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I ever Googled her or anything like that just to see. I don't know. It's not like I mean, if Musburger's talking about it, I got to at least take a look-see here and see who we're dealing with. Yeah, I think she's Miss Alabama.
So I think that would have raised the stakes.
You think so?
McCarron.
But keep in mind, never won the Heisman. He never won the Heisman. No.
But it's quarterback position.
Yeah. Alabama. Okay.
I don't know. I guess with the whole, you know what? Oh, the Webb thing took off, man. That thing took off.
Yeah.
But I would say prior to that, no. Okay. I would say Minshew all day.
Yeah.
I think, even though it was the quarterback at Alabama.
Sure.
I really believe that.
So you think after that, there was a national championship game when Musburger was
then it would have hit a new level.
Gotcha. Okay.
I believe. Again,
okay.
I think
I'm not
some
mad at
of this,
that.
by the way, is if they want it to, if they're willing to push it, promote it. Like if Gardner gets his dad and mom to help kind of become this corporation, and work. He's not going to do it all by himself, but I think if they want to promote it and push it in T-shirts and all this other stuff, they really have the ability to do so. It just matter how much you want to take advantage of it. All right, one more thing. You said the last 5 Heisman Trophy winners before break.
Yes.
Who would have made the most likeness and image?
Well, and I was even thinking, would they have made the most that year out of everyone else in the?
Well, that's going to be tough to figure, because I can't remember who was playing. But
You're asking a lot of us, Coos.
Give us the last 5 guys. Who would have made the most? Let's just simplify it like that.
So you got last year was Joe Burrow.
Okay.
The year before that, Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. Yep.
Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry.
Woo, baby. That's a tough one.
Oh, no, bro. That's so easy.
It's Baker Mayfield. I don't agree with you.
In the Barstool Sports era, you don't mean to tell me Baker Mayfield doing the nay-nay before the game, grabbing his crotch in the middle of the field, putting up middle fingers is the guy that's going to be the top seller? Come on now.
Doesn't that then help Gardner Minshew's argument to potentially be making more than some off name and likeness?
One's done at Oklahoma. One guy went to the college football playoff. One guy didn't. I think he went to the college football. Yeah, he did. Definitely.
Well, I'm leaning toward Joe Burrow here because of the monstrosity of a season he had, and
LSU was a big following,
and he's the All-American kid. I mean, look, he looks
smoking cigars,
pretty boy, kind of All-American look.
Sure,
right?
Yeah,
from 1950s, whatever,
for sure.
And I actually am slightly considering, in this instance, Kyler Murray.
Really?
Because of the baseball-football thing. Could he become the Bo Jackson likeness image guy
Not mad at
for
that.
college football? I mean, gosh, can you go back to Bo Jackson, by the way? How much would he have made in college?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, put a cap and he surpasses that.
So, again, man, I think it's closer than maybe you think it is.
I'm just saying, man, flawed anti-heroes. People love those. And Baker Mayfield was the flawed anti-hero. Remember when he ran from the cops, got tackled?
I get it.
That was everywhere.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's
but you know what?
fascinating.
Here is the creme de la creme of questions that Kuz brought up in terms of who's going to generate the most revenue. And I'm going with two guys on opposite sides of the spectrum, but to me, two guys that would probably generate the most money of all time. Who would make more? Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel.
I don't think Johnny Manziel ever got to Tebow's level.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I might be wrong. And somebody refresh me and remind me if I'm wrong. And I know nobody likes to answer anything in a positive way sometimes around here about Tebow.
Sure.
But I think Tebow.
Oh, man. Okay.
From the stories I've heard from Tebow and the popularity stories, and you kind of saw it first.
No,
you know,
I'm very
right there.
familiar with it.
And I understand Manziel was it was wild. It was a wild ride. I get it. I just don't know if it was on Tebow. I don't even think it was close to Tebow
See,
level.
all I'm going to say, though, remember when Johnny Football came into the league, his rookie year for the Cleveland Browns, the Browns had how many primetime games that year? I think it was like 4 or 5, and he wasn't even a slated starter yet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And there was a demand for the Cleveland Browns.
That's a good point.
Not sure if Tim Tebow can say the same thing.
Listen, it might be closer than I'm willing to say.
Sure.
I just think you're bringing a lot of different walks of
I get
Listen,
that,
I can tell you this. Moms and dads, and especially moms and grandmoms, are not buying Johnny Manziel stuff.
Yeah.
They're all buying Tebow stuff.
But every college kid, every kid that's been to a bar, that's been to a party, is going to buy Johnny Manziel stuff. So,
are you ready for the Fulham bump? Because
let's get it.
Fulham just won.
Retweeting, okay.
Fulham makes it to the Premier League, right?
Brilliant. Welcome back to ESPN 6.
Hold on, I got to hit go.
Sorry. Tell me when you do it so I can get my accent ready.
Give him a countdown.
It's the Kirchenberg.
Oh, wrong one.
Oh, wait, hang on. It's Mickey Mouse. Hold on. Okay, I got to go back to my...
it was a 2-1. Brentford scored late.
Okay.
2-1 victory. They call them victories? I already get in extra time.
Extra time, yep.
Yeah, Fulham makes the APL with a 2-1 victory in extra time.
Put and end it with
promotion
brilliant.
Earned.
Brilliant.
You want to say brilliant?
I feel like brilliant's it's a good English term they use.
Brilliant says Austin. This is good radio.
An absolutely brilliant.
All right, let's see where it goes to. It'll bump the heck out of it.
Hey, you want a commercial? We're still on?
No, we're gonna stay here.
Okay.
All right. Hey, interesting look at Gardner Minshew in The Athletic recently.
Yeah.
And deep dive in some of the numbers. Did you read the article?
I did.
Yeah, and It's like they put all these graphs. I mean, listen, it's intense. Like the numbers are intense.
Someone was doing their homework, let's just say.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
And they really just they kind of ranked them among all these different metrics. I think it's confusing.
Yeah.
I still wonder how many people inside the building, inside football in the National Football League, like really look at it that closely. Has it become like baseball and analytics where you're basically going off a chart? Are they looking at this similar chart? Mm-hmm. Fascinating numbers to the point when you read it where you're like, okay, he had as good as a season as I thought he did as a rookie, or as maybe he didn't have as good a season as I thought as a rookie.
It's a good call.
It goes back to a little bit what we were talking about. Essentially, without reading you every number as you listen, and I understand it, I can't assume you read the article, but it's a bit like the conversation we had last week with quarterback rating and QBR. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at quarterback rating, Minshew was like, I think 14th, we said.
Yeah.
If you look at QBR, he was like 26th. Mm-hmm. Now, this article referenced QBR.
Yep.
So, but that's the point. It's like, okay, we think Minshew did pretty well.
Sure.
Rank him against other first-year quarterbacks last year. He did pretty well. He did really well if you look at where he was drafted.
Yeah.
So when you read that article and all the metrics, and I invite you to go look at it on The Athletic, do you think he had as good a season as you thought or not so much?
So here's where I stand on it. I thought that those numbers sounded just about right. Okay, when I read that article, I was like, but of course, like, to me, listen, to me, the rookie campaign for Gardner Minshew, it goes down like this. I was more blown away with the great plays that he made. I was more flabbergasted with the things like in Denver when he broke like 3 tackles. And then I think he found Rock Armstead in the end zone for that touchdown to win the game. I was more blown away than I was more disappointed in some of his rookie mistakes, which you knew were going to happen, right? Where, yeah, there's an interception maybe here or there. Yes, there are a couple fumbles here where he maybe held the ball too long. But to me, the greatness and the optimism outweighed those rookie blues, let's just say. So when I read those numbers added up to me just because I'm like, yeah, because I remember watching every single game of the Jaguars last season, and I remember watching just how impressed I was with Gardner Minshew.
Well, depending on how you answer this is how you probably think. Do we get the Fulham bump? Congrats to Fulham going to the English Premier League, by the way.
Brilliant performance, Brent. Brilliant performance.
It was brilliant, actually, in the goal. If you watched the Joe Bryan goal, was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Tremendous. So really good stuff, and congrats to the Khans and Tony Khan and Fulham for going to the English Premier League. A huge moneymaker.
Yep.
A huge money. Again, I'll say what I've been saying for the last hour.
Yeah.
Give me a match with $200 million on the line.
Yeah.
And I'll watch Kuz play cornhole.
You better believe it, man.
I'm so ready.
Talks a big game, Brett. He talks a big game. Can he back it up, though? We'll find out.
Is cornhole a thing across the pond, or did they think I just swore?
Ooh, good call.
We do, with the Drive and Dish podcast, do have some listeners over there, and when I talked about cornhole, they thought I was
bag
saying
toss.
something different.
I was thinking that.
Bag
I just
toss,
thought of
huh?
that as I said it.
It's probably bag toss over there, huh?
It might be, or
Probably
maybe
bag
they don't
toss.
do it.
I mean, I'm sure everyone does it. Yeah, I'm sure it's bag toss. Everyone does that game. Come on now.
So seriously, how you feel about that question I asked you is probably how you feel about him going forward.
Correct.
So, like, if you think the numbers were an indicator that he did have a good year, okay, I think he's now got a chance to take a step. If you think the numbers were a little flawed and it was somewhat fraudulent that he had as good a year as the numbers might say, then you're like, I'm not as high on him. But isn't that what the national guys are essentially saying? There's hidden numbers in here that you guys aren't looking at. And he wasn't as good as you think he is.
Well, and listen, I understand analytics are huge, and I think analytics can be very beneficial to building a successful football team. I read an article in Sports Illustrated. I'm pretty sure like the Ravens have like the most guys in terms of the analytics department of any NFL team. They have like 20 guys that are like reliable for analytics stuff. I think the Jaguars have like 2 or 3. 20 guys, Brent.
20 guys.
So analytics. Like you're writing paychecks for 20 guys with analytics.
I saw that too, and I think it was like the Titans, they either had nothing available or they wouldn't give the information because they had nobody. So I think I remember that.
So with that being said, yeah, you have to be careful with analytics sometimes because you can obviously shape the scenario. You can shape your point to what you want to say, right?
Yes.
Because there's numbers and everything that can help prove a point, or also you can help counter that point. I mean, that's what numbers do, like you just said. But once again, I just go off my eyes, man. Okay, like I go off my eyes first, and then I see the numbers, and I'm like, yep, that looks about right, and then I go on from there. And if I do that, once again, optimism this year for Gardner Minshew.
Well, here's the thing. The offense he's going to get the ball out of his hands quickly here. What I wonder, does that mitigate all the downfield stuff? Because down the field, he was excellent. I think he was second to Mahomes in some categories. Like, I just don't know how. Now, in fairness, I said this about quarterbacks in the past. But I don't understand how you can not have some hope in Minshew when I can give you a metric and a number as big as down the field passing, 20-plus yards.
Yep.
That's second to the MVP of the league and maybe the brightest star in the league in Patrick Mahomes. Like, that has to carry some weight. You have deficiencies in other areas, but how does that not give you confidence in Gardner Minshew when you see a stat like that?
It does, but at the same time, you can say, well, how many times was he behind in those games? How many times did he have to air the ball? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm probably trying to play the devil's advocate right now.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm that's what they did with Bortles, and they were right. But Bortles, they'd say, well, those were garbage yards. When he threw for 4,000 and 35,000, they were garbage. And you know what? They ended up being kind of right, they ended up proving right.
Sure.
I did say, I was like, I don't think you throw 35 touchdowns by mistake in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I said that. Like, I don't think that's a mistake. You can't just do that. And people are like, well, it's garbage. Well, I guess you were right in the long run. So I just feel like there's some of these stats that line up with Minshew Like, hey, well, you don't do that by accident.
Well, let me ask you this then, Brent.
Not in the NFL.
We're on the topic of stats right now, right? And let's go ahead and let's play a little role play here. Let's be Dave Caldwell right now, okay? If you're Dave Caldwell coming off this 2020 campaign, and you're tasked to figure out, is Gardner Minshew the guy going forward? Obviously, wins or losses, that's the biggest stat. But what's the next stat on Gardner Minshew? What's the next analytic that you're going to look at and see, he is our guy or he's not our guy? What's the next stat that you go to and say, you know what, this is what's going to tell us if he's the guy going forward or not?
Oh, good call. That's a really good call. I've jumped in the 10 seconds since you asked that question, I've jumped about 4 different ways, just to let you know.
Okay.
Yeah. I've gone to touchdowns, to interceptions, to fumbles. Has he fixed the fumble thing? But I think I'm going to
QB rating you could go to a lot of things.
I'm going to go here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to call accuracy. And they can break it down however they want. Mm-hmm. But I think to succeed in the offense of Jay Gruden, accuracy is going to be paramount because he's going to want to get rid of that football. I also think you can't fool the NFL a couple years in a row with accuracy. So if his numbers add up this year, from a percentage standpoint, again, and if you can deep dive in the numbers, and those look pretty good, I think there's a future for this guy. I would say accuracy. I don't know what I don't know is I don't know what the barometer of that is. I can't sit here and tell you, well, if he gets 64% of his passes, well, then this guy's are. I don't know what that is. Those guys know that more than me.
Yeah. But that's the person you're going to.
That would be something that's. You said after wins. Wins and losses are critical.
Obviously, to me, I think we can both agree. If he wins 8-9 games this year, then Gardner Minshew's the guy going forward.
Yeah.
If he only wins 1 or 2 games, probably not. Then.
Listen, and I do think my first inclination was go touchdown interception ratio, touchdown turnover ratio.
That's where everyone I think would go,
and I think that's fair.
Yeah. But that's proven to us before with Blake Bortles, where sometimes
35 and 7. Well, we always knew that the turnovers were high.
True.
But if Gardner Minshew throws 18 touchdowns and 4 picks, you say, "Wow, it's a great ratio." Are you excited about 18 touchdowns?
Probably not.
So that's why you got to be careful with touchdown interception ratio, in my opinion. Well, like Tyrod Taylor might throw 3 interceptions all season. But he might only throw 15 touchdowns. He doesn't take a lot of chances. At least he hadn't had a history of doing that.
And to prove your point as well, you can kind of skew those touchdown numbers once again if it's garbage time, things like that. But what you can't skew is completion percentage. What you can't skew is the accuracy. Because at the end of the day, I mean, accuracy, that starts from the first play of the game to the last play of the game. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, and you know me, I think his biggest growth area is that middle of the field.
Correct.
So will that come with Gruden? Will that come with Tyler Eifert and Josh Oliver's health? Will that come with Minshew just evolving as a quarterback in the NFL? I think, to me, but I don't know if that says I got a franchise quarterback you can throw in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as simplistic as that. I think accuracy is, you can do a lot of things with an accurate quarterback, even if he's deficient in some areas.
For sure.
In my opinion. That's a good question. I have to ask Caldwell that.
That would be a good question to ask him. Yeah.
I might have to ask. Ask him. Really good question to ask. I wonder what they do look at.
Yeah.
If there was one. And you know what their answer is, right? There's not just one.
Of course.
Right.
But I know. So you're probably going to get kind of the cliche answer, if you will.
Some fun Minshew talk. I invite you to go read that article in The Athletic. It was interesting. Again, if you like numbers, it's interesting. The one other thing I'll say, even when he's ranked 24th or 25th in the NFL, heck, over the last decade, the Jags would take a quarterback that's ranked 24th or 25th in his rookie year to see if it jumps up to 17 or 16 in his next year.
Without a doubt.
Remember, they've been down at the bottom of the barrel of those stats. Like, I'm talking 29, 30, 31 for the better half of the last decade. Really, the better half of this century. When we come back, wear masks or no football. One lawmaker says that. Tell you what state. And is he right? It's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered heavy storms this evening, clearing later, dropping into the low to mid-70s. Tomorrow will be partly sunny, hot and humid. Scattered afternoon storms, and your Wednesday high near 95. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing.
Is your business losing sales from the current pandemic? Are you trying to remain in touch with important clients? If you're struggling with questions like this, you're not alone. Many small businesses are currently in a severe crisis and need immediate assistance. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE offers webinars on a variety of topics that can help you manage through this crisis. Click on the Take a Workshop tab at jacksonville.score.org and register today.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's best vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
These days, more and more women are asking for fancy-shaped diamonds. Ovals, princess cuts, cushion cuts, ashers, marquise, heart-shaped, pear-shaped, emerald cuts. All very popular this year. And no one has more of these special shapes than Diamonds Direct. In fact, we've just increased our selection of these beautiful stones with sizes ranging from a ½ carat up to 10 carats. And while other jewelers will try to tell you these fancy shapes cost more, the fact is, as you'll learn at Diamonds Direct, fancy shaped diamonds should always cost up to 20% less than the same size round diamond. Plus, in many cases, a fancy shaped diamond will have a larger face and appear bigger than a round diamond with the same carat weight. So, with a fancy shaped diamond, you can get a bigger look for a lower price and have a diamond that stands out from the crowd. Come to Diamonds Direct and get the facts about fancy shaped diamonds, see the largest selection, and get the guaranteed best price. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Let's talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no-contact sales and service appointments and have taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's thinking about your good health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our home. You can have it at your home. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great-tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Just call 904-552-1242 or go to cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing Jacksonville and Southeast Georgia.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why?
because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
I look at it every single day and I'm in awe.
That's Tracy talking about her amazing diamond ring from Diamonds Direct.
Better than anything I could ever imagine. Just fantastic. The biggest compliment is everybody says I've never seen anything like it.
And the shopping experience at Diamonds Direct?
Very laid back. Not one time did we feel like we were being pressured. Not one time did we feel like we were being asked to extend a budget we did not have. In fact, it was almost the opposite. Like, we completely respect the budget that you guys have. Let us see if we can make something work.
And how about the free service for life at Diamonds Direct?
I come back about once a month and I have them clean it, redip it so it's all shiny and new, and they will clean it every day if I walked in here every day. They're fantastic.
These days, Tracy walks around with Diamonds Direct business cards in her purse.
I hand them to strangers. When people say, where did you get that? I go, here, this is where I got it. And they always go, oh, I hear the ads, but I've never been in there. I'm like, go in.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
There's nothing like this anywhere else that I've seen.
Get directions, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Off Town Center Parkway.
The summer shower of savings continue. Right now at Beard's Diamonds, get 5 years, 0 interest, plus no money down on any purchase.
This is the best deal of the summer.
Take advantage of Beard's lowest prices in North Florida on diamonds.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month. Or a pair of diamond studs for $3,000? You pay just $50 a month.
Come in, see the difference. Save thousands.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows. There's no better time. Duval! Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. Get all the carpets in your home cleaned by Zero Res for 25% off the regular price. With Zero Res, there are 0 soaps, 0 detergents, and 0 residue. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com.
First Coast No More Homeless Pets Veterinary Hospital provides premium veterinary care for less. 7 days a week, a full range of services with compassionate care. Pet owners shouldn't have to choose between paying bills or a healthy pet. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting, that's fascinating. Every day as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, you could draw everything up on paper, it by the book, but it's really getting in there and getting the reps, feeling the real timing of things, trying to make sure your footwork really matches up within the play, seeing where, actual spacing is versus on the page is definitely different. So just looking forward to getting those reps. And I think everybody else, it's an offense that is, pretty user-friendly. I think everybody's learning it pretty well, and excited to get moving with it. Who's got the dog in the background, man?
That was Gardner barking, by the way, the last one.
Yeah. So it wasn't his dog, it was someone else.
No, it was John Shipley.
Oh, yeah.
I think he later claimed that on Twitter.
Okay.
John's a good guy.
Oh, yeah.
But he must have thought he was on mute and didn't hit mute or something, because that's what you got to do in the team stuff.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, I'm on that conference call, and I'm like hitting ground balls and pitching to the kids. And so I'm always thinking, like, I wonder if they get all of a sudden they're going to start hearing a crack of the bat because it's in my pocket and I hit the mute button or something.
Sure.
And the funny thing is, John's got the dogs going, and it's like, I'm like, nobody's fixed that yet? Nobody can hear that the dog's barking?
I thought like the moderator can mute it though. Have you had a situation happen? Like I've had that happen once with like a Zoom meeting here. Like someone said something and I was like, oh, does that bore you? And I was like, oh.
That's great. I mean, it's got to be happening all over.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are videos out already of seeing stuff on Zoom and Teams meetings. It's got to be. Sure. You could put one heck of a blooper. Like you probably do America's Funniest Home Videos off the pandemic just from that.
Definitely
this morning, this is another stupid Zoom meeting. This morning, I hopped on the Zoom call with Nick and some of the higher ups, and I just pressed the button, and it was kind of like in that loading screen, you know? And we had a full bottle of Captain just sitting on the table. I'm like, oh, that shouldn't be there. I should put that in the liquor cabinet. So I picked it up, and as I had it in my hand, it joined. and our president's like, a little too early for that stuff, don't you think?
Nothing says established like some Captain Morgan in the morning on a weekday.
Awesome.
I was like, it's not opened if that helps.
That's fantastic. That's good stuff. You know, it is funny. Like we do, because I do TV from the house most nights, and so we have this, we call it a live view. It's this little box thing that allows you to go live. It's unbelievable. I think it's the second best invention other than iPhone. But it changed our business.
Sure.
And so I can go live from like our back room in our house, but once you plug the camera into it, the editors here at the station actually have the ability to turn it on and go live. So like I'll wait until a few minutes before, and then I'll kind of connect it. Yeah. There's a button to push to connect it. Well, sometimes they can take it. They can do it. Once they see that it's activated, they do it. Well, so I'm always thinking twice. Like I want to wait. I want to make sure. Like I'll unplug that thing just in case. Like I'm changing my shirt, doing whatever. You know. Yeah.
Well,
videos forever.
Well, listen, and I told the story a couple times. I feel like a prisoner in my own house because listen, I pay rent. I pay my taxes like an American, and when you do that, you can walk around your house naked. And my wife, for a couple times now, has been doing her classes online with her med school stuff, where her 20 kids on the class in the Zoom, and here I come walking in, and all of a sudden I peek around the corner. I'm like, yep, back to the room I go because I forgot that she's going to class. So I have to mind myself and kind of adjust who I am as a person just to make sure that no one catches a glimpse of my cash and prizes. Call it that. Is that okay? Is Nick going to be mad at that one? I think we're all
Every
right.
time somebody brings up like walking around their house naked, I always think of the folks that live in Atlantic Beach Country Club area.
Okay.
And this is why I think
Where is this going?
No, this is nothing. Great golf course. Love the golf course. But this is why I think of it seriously.
Okay.
Like if you've been over there, have you ever been over there?
Can't say that.
Because you've been around.
I've not. No.
Oh my gosh.
Listen,
you guys aren't going to help me.
Nicole's embarrassed to golf with me most of the time, so I got to go to courses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and it's me. So no, I haven't been there.
So at Atlantic Beach Country Club, again, nice course right on the beach, and they redid the whole thing, and they added homes there, beautiful homes. Mm-hmm. But some of the homes, and a lot of them, like I'm talking right on the golf course, like
big windows. We're saying.
A lot of windows,
a lot of glass,
like seriously, you cannot walk around your house. You cannot walk around your house naked.
Forget it then. Forget it. No,
like you can't.
I'm out, Brent.
And so, but I think of it all the time because I'm like, somebody has, and somebody's sitting there on the first tee or fourth tee or whatever, and there's whoever.
All right. I'm going to tell this story right now because I think we're in a safe spot.
Oh, no.
It's going to be a real quick story, but this is a safe tree right here, right, Brent? Where we're safe.
Absolutely.
We're talking.
There's nobody listening.
No one's listening right now.
Fulham has hung up.
All right. Exactly. All right, then. No. Okay. So when I was training with the Kansas City Chiefs, right, staying in Tampa Bay, training at, I forgot what the play, I think it was called Athletic Edge. With a pretty prominent trainer in terms of football and professional sports, athletes like that. Just so happened that the place that I was staying at ended up having bed bugs. So I had to move out of there. I got my refund, everything like that. Had no place to stay. The head trainer at this place let me stay at his humble abode, let's say, because he had 2 of them, right? Because he's doing okay. Anytime you got your own gym in Bradenton teaching professional athletes, you make some good money. So I was staying at his own, his other place, let's just say. And needless to say, I made myself at home. I made myself like, this is where I'm conducting business now. I go train, I come back, I eat dinner, I watch movies, I hang out. Well, if I'm by myself, why not? I don't say I was naked, but I wasn't really clothed, let's just say. Okay? Now, this isn't my house. This is the trainer's house, but I felt like, well, this is now my house for a little bit.
You're the only one occupying.
I'm the only one
Hey,
occupying
they said
it.
make yourself at home.
Yeah. So I'm there for about a month, right? And you better believe I made myself at home, okay? Spared no expense. Turn the key over to the guy, wish him, hey, man, thanks a lot for everything you've done for me. Good luck in Kansas City, yada, yada. Good luck with your career. Come to find out, he's like, hey, man, yeah, so did you have fun? I'm like, yeah, your house is really nice. I appreciate you letting me have it. He's like, yeah, I bet you had some fun. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? He's like, well, I have cameras in my house, right? And I was like, oh, do you now? And I just go, did you see anything? He's like, no, I didn't see anything. I'm like, okay, good. Now, in the back of my mind, I was like, I'm sure this guy caught me, like, walking around, prancing around, once again.
Dancing to a song.
With my cash and prizes out, just because I thought it was my house. I thought I had it under control. Needless to say, he's got cameras everywhere. So anybody out there staying like in a Airbnb, I don't want to scare anybody, but I'm just saying security cameras are a thing in those houses.
Yo, watch out.
Watch out. Watch out.
I've actually thought about that, like in our own home. Like, seriously, like, I don't know if I want to see down the road, like what the kids are doing and what they're not doing.
Oh, right. Sometimes ignorance is bliss.
My brothers got in trouble.
what I mean?
My parents
Because
had that ring light. They went, like, right before Corona, they had gone to Ocean City, New Jersey for the weekend. My dad's ring lights, bing, bing, bing. And these guys walking in with beers.
Dude, I'm going to be honest, man. Like,
I don't know if I want to see everything.
I don't want to see it. Ignorance is bliss. That's all I'm going to say. And we always say, like, kids these days, we got it easy. You got these apps, and you got Uber and all this stuff. But listen, man, kids can have it hard, too. Because, like, back when we were in high school, all right, so maybe you break curfew by 30 minutes, mom's sleeping, you quietly get in the house, you're good to go. Well, now we got rings, man. Now we got all these, technological things where it's like, if you're late, they're going to know about it, and you're screwed.
I forget what I teased coming up, which is normal for the show. But I did do this today. LeBron James.
Yeah.
LeBron James, you tweeted it out, and it got me thinking.
Yeah.
It was like, did anybody not think LeBron James and the Lakers had a chance at number one? I can't remember that long ago before the NBA season, which would have been like October of 2019.
Yeah.
But where the Lakers were in the mix, right?
When you had Anthony Davis, everyone kind of expected. I think if you didn't get at least top 2, people were going to be like, "Yo, what happened?"
Listen, it's the Tom Brady effect through and through. It's when athletes got to take these fabrications and try to motivate themselves for whatever reason. I mean, you're LeBron James. Last time I checked, you're going to be in Space Jam too. You know why? Because you're probably the best player in the world. You mean to tell me that you need extra motivation and be like, well, you didn't want to believe in us. You didn't want to see us make it. Come on, man. But, in his mind, it's all about that extra added motivation. So I see it.
I just clicked on, like, the 30 most played out sports cliches.
Yeah.
Here they are. Real quick. We have the utmost respect for them. He's the first one in the building and the last one out. These fans are rocking. You could hear a pin drop in here. Nothing comes easy in this league. They have unbelievable chemistry. The coaches in front office rave about him. Mm-hmm. He brought his A game today. He does. I think I feel like Tiger Woods made that pop.
Can I
thing, right?
Can I add one? That'll play. For
That'll
golf,
play.
I hear that every time I hit the ball horribly.
That'll play.
He does all the little things. He's just a natural-born leader. It's do or die right here. This guy's absolutely unstoppable. The dude is a physical freak. That's really a cliche. They won't be denied today. He overcame a ton of adversity. On paper, they're the team to beat. His mind's just not in it. It's all about winning for me. This game is all mental. I just want to thank God. That's a cliche now.
Okay.
Defense wins championships. Well, that certainly is. He took that one for the team. They have all the right pieces. They really put forth a great effort. You know what they say? It's a game of inches.
2 things I didn't hear. Stop the run the football. You win football games. But no, seriously, they're missing the biggest cliche in terms of football. I can't wait to compete. Every single athlete out of the combine. Can't wait to compete. Can't wait to compete. Well, I hope so, sir.
Can you imagine, though, if we couldn't use any of that stuff, how would we talk? I mean, seriously, you talk like you use those things.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I always say this about, like, cliches are cliches for a reason.
Yeah.
Because they're most of the time true.
Yeah.
Like, about kids. Everything your parents and grandparents said about kids and having a kid, well, they're cliche for a reason because they actually pan out.
So real quick, cliche that we always forget about, we're going to talk about on the show. Billy Donovan, real quick.
No, we'll do
Coach,
it.
Okay, you want to do it tomorrow? Okay, I thought we teased. Okay, we're good. We'll do it tomorrow.
I tease so many things that I don't talk about.
That's all right. Let's talk some more soccer real
We
quick.
got more listeners from across the pond than we've ever had.
It was right as rain
This was
today.
a win
Right as
today.
rain. Congratulations, dear Fulham Football Club. Right as rain.
We will talk a little Billy Donovan tomorrow. We'll also have Max Kellerman on the show. It's tomorrow. I'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Thanks for hanging with us on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Well, and you know where I stand on this, and I've been very adamant about this. I'm not going to be surprised whether it's in the NFL or college where teams are going to try to, maybe kind of sway the rules a little bit just to get that competitive edge. There's nothing more competitive than a football season, whether it's college or the NFL.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
The summer shower of savings continues.
Beard announces our most exciting